Chapter 1438, Seventh Order Mandala. Since the Nether Dragon begged for mercy, Chen Mobai naturally wouldn't fight to the bitter end. After all, the power of the Purple Cloud Palace in his right hand had been exhausted, and the power of the Great Void Measuring Ruler in his left hand would certainly not be as strong as the former. He had originally planned to run away. Chen Mobai, I won't offend others unless they offend me, but Xuaner has been captured by you and is still unconscious. You have to give me an explanation. Upon hearing this, Minglong hesitated, wondering how to apologize in a way that would satisfy Chen Mobai. Fellow Taoist, rest assured, Mother is the first innate deity born in the netherworld. She is currently unconscious only because her physical form cannot withstand the infusion of the netherworld's primordial power. Once the netherworld's primordial power transforms her into a yin spirit divine body, this problem will be resolved. The one who answered was Mingxin, who seemed to want to make amends for his mistakes. What would happen if it were transformed into a yin spirit divine body? Chen Mobai instantly caught the keyword, frowned, and continued to ask. You'll turn into a ghost. As soon as Ming San finished speaking, Ming Long whipped him from the sky to the ground with his tail, creating a human-shaped crater in the underworld soil melted by the holy sun. My apprentice was perfectly fine, and now he's going to become a ghost. Chen Mobai was furious. If he didn't only have the power of the Taixu measuring ruler to strike once more, he would have made sure that the nether umbrella died again. Taoist, please calm down. There's actually a way to stop this. As long as we take her away from the netherworld, the primordial power here will naturally stop flowing into her body. It's just that when she entered the yellow spring pool before, she already showed signs of becoming yin, which is irreversible. However, as long as she doesn't absorb the yin energy of the yellow springs and other energies evolved from the netherworld's primordial power, there won't be any major problems going forward. Compared to the childlike Mingxin, Minglong understands things a little better, but not by much. As soon as it finished speaking, Chen Mobai's face turned completely cold. Although Luo Yixuan's form is still human, she now has a pair of horns on her head, her hands and feet show signs of clawing, there are faint scales on her wrists, and 2 protrusions on her shoulders and back, as if a pair of wings are about to grow. Given her appearance and personality, Luo Yixuan probably won't be seen in the Tian realm. Chen Mobai had originally thought that after returning, he could use the holy virtue and pure light to purify the netherworld origin power within her body, and she would recover. Is there really no way to restore her original appearance? Don't you possess the great Tao of the universe? Can you bring her back from before she entered the Yellow Springs pool? Chen Mobai recalled the scene of Minglong reviving Mingxin and the others, and came up with an idea. The dark dragon shook his head. If my great Tao of the universe wants to reload the past, it first needs to save the data. Unfortunately, I did not save the data about her at that time. For Minglong, he definitely hopes that Luo Yixuan can return to her original appearance. Only Luo Yixuan, who withstood the infusion of the netherworld origin and transformed into a yin spirit god, was able to make it call her mom. Before that, Minglong had not valued Luo Yixuan too much. After all, since the creation of the 3 realms, there had been several instances of the remnants of the ghost mother's spirit reviving, but none of them had been able to recover and become the ghost mother again. However, no one expected that Luo Yixuan this time would have such an extraordinary background, with Chen Mobai as her master. The nether umbrella kidnapped her, which attracted Chen Mobai to cross over from another realm, almost breaking through the netherworld. Chen Mobai sighed inwardly. Since even the nether dragon has no solution, Luo Yixuan will probably have to continue with her current appearance in the future. However, she can be taught the void illusion technique to disguise herself using the great Tao of illusion. Just then, a strange colored Tao pattern suddenly lit up again, triggering the Fankun book. It integrated all the knowledge in Chen Mobai's mind and came up with a way to solve Luo Yixuan's current problem. By using the divine art of 2 separation, the spiritual power of the underworld and the characteristics of the ghost mother are separated, then refined using the method of external avatar, and finally enhanced through cultivation with the netherworld scripture. This not only resolves the issue of the 2 types of spiritual power and purifies the original body, but also allows one to obtain a powerful avatar that can one day become the supreme being of the netherworld. Chen Mobai never expected that the square-inch book, blessed by the turtle treasure, would become so powerful. In addition to the outline, all the heavenly book techniques that Chen Mobai had read were extracted, and a new technique was tailored to Luo Yixuan's current situation, with the 2 divine arts, external avatar, and netherworld scripture as the main framework. The theoretical ultimate goal of this practice is to merge with the Tao and attain the state of innate life and death. Could the lineage of mending the heavens truly be the legacy left behind by senior sisters Tianhai and Guiling? Chen Mobai had already suspected this before, but after going to the Xuanhu dojo, he found that the 5 Tai scriptures were common and could be easily downloaded online, so he stopped thinking about it. But now that the Fangkun book and the turtle treasure have combined and produced such a wonderful change, it proves that the lineage of mending the heavens can at least be traced back to the turtle's spirit mother. Thinking of this, Chen Mobai had an idea and began to consider using the Yuanyang sword to condense the great Tao of sacred virtue of the netherworld and elevate it to treasure for achieving Tao. In an instant, the turtle treasure lit up with the patterns of saintly virtue, and the square-inch book started operating again, integrating the methods and paths to achieve this, for Chen Mobai to choose from. After careful deduction using the Fangkun book, it was found that this was feasible. However, the methods needed to be carefully considered. Some had a high probability of success, but if they failed, the magical artifact would be completely destroyed under the impact of the great Tao of sacred virtue. Others had a low success rate, but if they failed, because the great Tao of the netherworld was incomplete, it was possible to find a loophole and allow the magical artifact to barely survive, leaving a possibility of regeneration. Is the true power of the turtle baby finally about to be revealed? Chen Mobai suppressed his excitement and outwardly remained angry with Minglong and the others. Just then, the new cultivation technique that Feng Kunchu deduced for Luo Yixuan required a rare treasure of heaven and earth to entrust one's mind and spirit and achieve the incarnation of the ghost mother. Chen Mobai simply asked Minglong for it directly. You have no way because you lack knowledge. I do have an idea for this, but it requires a treasure that is compatible with the spiritual power of the Yellow Springs and preferably contains the power of the netherworld origin. After Chen Mobai finished speaking, his gaze fell on the companion spirit treasures of the ghost mother's children, including the nether dragon. In the netherworld, these are 7th-tier innate spiritual treasures, and also rare and precious origins. Fellow Taoist, please wait a moment, let me think. The nether dragon naturally saw Chen Mobai's gaze, but it wasn't worried about it. After all, these things were one with its brothers and sisters, and even if outsiders took them away, they couldn't use them. At most, they could only seal them. Brother, in your underworld at the end of the Yellow Springs, isn't there a 7th-tier datura flower? At this moment, the bruised and battered umbrella who had flown up immediately spoke up after hearing Chen Mobai's words. The nether dragon exhaled a deep breath, its whiskers trembling with rage as it forcefully suppressed the urge to tear the nether umbrella apart. Oh, if you are willing to give this item to my disciple, I will pretend that today's events never happened. Upon hearing what Ming San said, Chen Mobai's eyes lit up, and he quickly spoke up. Although I don't know what kind of treasure this mandala is, its 7th-tier quality can't be bad. This kind of thing is basically an innate spiritual treasure that has not yet fully developed. If it falls into the hands of a true immortal Taoist, it can be refined into a treasure for achieving Tao. Luo Yixuan's ghost mother incarnation relies on this, and even if her luck is bad in the future, she will at least reach the level of a Dan Ding Dao Ren. I just thought of that too. Fellow Taoist, please wait a moment while I fetch it for you. Minglong forced a smile and decided to reluctantly part with his beloved to resolve today's conflict. By the way, I heard that the ascension platform of the Heavenly River realm accidentally fell into your netherworld. Do you know where this thing is? I've come all this way today, so I'll take it back with me. Chen Mobai thought of this again and asked once more. This is also in my underworld. I'll retrieve it together later. Minglong hesitated for a moment and said, since you've already given away a 7th-tier mandala, consider this a bonus. After all, the ascension platform is useless to the netherworld. They dared not ascend to the celestial realm. Fellow Taoist, hurry back. I have already broken the seal on the void. Chen Mobai couldn't help but smile with satisfaction when he saw that Minglong was so cooperative. Upon hearing this, Minglong immediately tried to manipulate the void, and as expected, discovered that he could teleport instantly. This greatly shocked it and the demon mother's son who were present. After all, it's certain that Chen Mobai hasn't reached the Tao integration stage. It's somewhat unbelievable that someone at the void refinement stage could suppress these innate deities of the netherworld on the great Tao of void. After disappearing for a few breaths, the nether dragon reappeared in the same spot, bringing over a clay pot and a white jade platform, which it handed to Chen Mobai. The earthenware pot was filled with the eerie waters of the yellow springs, and at the bottom was the soil of the underworld, where a strange, purplish-black flower grew. "Is this the seventh order mandala?" Chen Mobai glanced at them and immediately put both items into his sleeve. "Thank you, fellow Taoist. I'll head back now. I'll bring my little disciple to the netherworld to express my gratitude once she's recovered." Chen Mobai's words were a prelude. He would come frequently in the future to refine the innate great Tao of the netherworld using the Yuanyang sword and other techniques. "Fellow Taoist, please take care. Shall I see you off?" Minglong said with a smile, but in his heart he couldn't wait for Chen Mobai to get lost and never see him again. Amidst the flashing silver light, Chen Mobai activated the turtle treasure, leading Luo Yixuan to the heavenly river realm. Upon seeing this, the nether dragons were once again shocked. Because when the tortoise treasure was being teleported, the surrounding void was once again out of control. If this kid were to merge with the void here, he could probably achieve it on the spot. Among the 9 sons of the Ghost Mother, the second-ranked 9-headed ghost bird said that she was the underworld phoenix. "Old 8, if you don't speak, no one will think you're mute." At this moment, the nether dragon suddenly turned its head and looked coldly at the nether umbrella. Upon seeing this scene, Mingfeng and the others immediately remembered that they had some matters to attend to and took their leave. Moments later, the screams of the nether umbrella echoed throughout the netherworld. Chapter 1439, Climb to the Immortal Platform. Chapter 1439, Climb to the Immortal Platform. With a flash of silver light, Chen Mobai had already returned to the heavenly river realm with the help of the turtle treasure. When he returned, he found 2 acquaintances waiting for him. They are Yuan Kink and Shengxi. "Young friend, you're finally back." Yuan Kink breathed a sigh of relief when she saw Chen Mobai return. Shengxi, standing to the side, looked shocked. He had previously received a message talisman from the 9 Heavens Demon Slayer sect requesting assistance. Fortunately, the teleportation array was destroyed, and he managed to arrive just in time after the battle ended. At that time, the only person present was Yuan Kink, who was worried about Chen Mobai going to the netherworld and was waiting there. While the two were chatting, Shengxi had already learned the cause and effect of this great battle, and now that Chen Mobai was able to return from the netherworld, could it be that he had already broken through the underworld? But the nether dragons are innate deities, and even the immortal Lord of Nothingness cannot suppress them in the netherworld. "Young friend, is this your disciple?" At this moment, Yuan Kink pointed to Luo Yixuan lying on the Yuanyang sword and asked in surprise. After all, Luo Yixuan's current appearance doesn't quite seem like that of someone from the right path. "Alas, we arrived too late. My disciple has already been corrupted by the netherworld origin and has begun to transform into a yin body." Chen Mobai nodded and sighed. After hearing what he said, Yuan Kink and Shengxi both showed regret. Given their status and knowledge, they naturally knew that the transformation into a yin body was irreversible, and from now on, this promising disciple of the Azure Emperor of the Eastern Wilderness could only walk the path of ghosts. As righteous people, they would normally be ruthless and execute someone on the spot in such a situation to prevent the emergence of another lineage of the netherworld demonic sect. However, because they were Chen Mobai's disciples, Yuan Kink and Shengxi simply assumed they had forgotten this rule and remained silent. "By the way, during my time in the netherworld, were there any noteworthy changes in the heavenly river realm?" Chen Mobai didn't say he had a way to solve Luo Yixuan's problem, but instead asked about something else. His primary focus was naturally on the celestial venerable who had attained the Tao of innate life and death, and the 9 Heavens demon-subduing ancestor who had elevated the innate Taiji Tao. Whichever of these 2 outcomes occurs, it will be a major event for the 3 realms. The Tao of life and death is fluctuating. The heavenly venerable's accumulation is quite profound, so it is estimated that the Tao integration will continue for some time. As for my master, since the tower of refining the Tao has been shattered, I am unable to contact the spirit void immortal realm. I wonder how his Tao ascension is progressing." Yuan Kink shook her head and told him what she knew. "Oh, so what are your plans next, fellow Taoist? Will you ascend again, or will you stay in the eastern continent?" Upon hearing what Yuan Kink said, Chen Mobai couldn't help but ask curiously. Previously, the top level of the Tower of Refining the Tao was like a small transit station between the heavenly river realm and the spirit void immortal realm, just like the true realm of the Void Palace, except that only the primordial spirit could descend. So now Yuan Kink's primordial spirit is here, while her physical body is in the spirit void immortal realm. Fortunately, he was a void refinement cultivator, his primordial spirit almost tangible, making him nearly indistinguishable from an ordinary person. If it were a nascent soul cultivator, he might have had to refine a spiritual object to which he could reside. Tangshan Peak is destroyed, and Tangshan Refining Tower is also broken. I must rebuild the Nine Heavens Demon Suppression Sect before I can leave with peace of mind. This is also Master's wish. Everyone present was one of their own, so Yuan Kink didn't hide anything. The path to sublimation into the primordial Taiji Dao is one of life or death, and the Nine Heavens Demon-Slaying Sect is not without enemies in the spirit void immortal realm. If the Nine Heavens demon-subduing ancestor were to pass away, their lineage would certainly have no choice but to relinquish the territory and benefits they currently occupy until the next true immortal Dao Lord appears. Moreover, after the three realms return to their origin, the heavenly river realm can accommodate those who have cultivated to the void realm, which is also a good opportunity for the Nine Heavens Demon Suppression Sect to rebuild and lie dormant. Of course, the most important thing is that if Yuan Kink wants to return to the Linkang immortal realm now, he can only undergo the Nine Heavens tribulation, which is procedurally illegal for him since he has already undergone it. After all, he should be in the spirit realm right now. Without the Nine Heavens demon-subduing ancestor, someone might have used this as an excuse to send Yuan Kink to the immortal prison. That's easy to solve. After listening to Yuan Kink's troubles, Chen Mobai waved his sleeve and took out the white jade platform that Minglong had given him. This could be. The moment Yuan Kink and Shengxi saw the white jade platform, they were both excited, trembling all over, and their faces were filled with disbelief. As a sacred land in the eastern continent, apart from the peerless geniuses like the Nine Heavens demon-subduing ancestor and the immortal Lord of Nothingness who ascended after passing through the Nine Heavens tribulation, the rest of their ancestors in the spirit void immortal realm basically all ascended after passing the ascension platform assessment. In ancient times, the ascension platform was the most legitimate way to reach the shore. Therefore, the appearance of the white jade platform was recorded in several thick volumes in the books of both families. Even if the jade platform were placed in front of them, they wouldn't dare to confirm it unless Chen Mobai said so. After all, there are too many counterfeit versions of this thing. In the Netherworld, I met the Nether Dragons through a fight. After our battle, they realized their mistakes and apologized to me. I remembered that the ascension platform in the Netherworld had blocked the ascension path of many cultivators in the Heavenly River realm for tens of thousands of years, so I thought I would do a good deed and ask the Nether Dragons to retrieve it for me. I figured they wouldn't dare to take a fake. Chen Mobai briefly explained the origin of the ascension platform, then casually handed it to Yuan Kink. Young friend, your merits are immeasurable. From now on, all beings in the heavenly river realm who ascend to the spirit void immortal realm will be grateful for your kindness. After Yuan Kink accepted the gift with both hands, she solemnly bowed deeply to Chen Mobai. The people on the side of the stream could not contain their excitement. Because he was not confident that he could overcome the Nine Heavens tribulation, and might even end up like Wuchen, unable to reach the void refining realm. However, after Chen Mobai brought the ascension platform back from the Netherworld, he had the possibility of ascending to immortality. Compared to the Nine Heavens tribulation, which is basically only possible through strength, the spots on the ascension platform at least offer room for manipulation. Do you know how to use this ascension platform? Chen Mobai asked. The Five Elements sect has the shortest history of all the Holy Lands. As for this legendary ascension artifact, I have only heard of its name. When he first got his hands on it, Chen Mobai tried using the Cantong Qi, but found that, although the ascension platform was also a magic artifact, it was more like a special teleportation point. In addition to the incantation, it also required feedback from the Linkang immortal realm to activate. Previously, this item was placed in the Kaiyankun immortal city of Zhangzhou. Every 600 years, the nascent soul cultivators from many holy lands would gather in Zhangzhou to resolve disputes and determine the ascension quotas given by the immortal realm. This is the Ascension to Heaven and Earth Assembly, which is also the predecessor of the Holy Path Assembly. However, it was cancelled after the Ascension platform was removed. But there are often conflicts between holy lands, so the Thousand Autumns Brush and Ink Forest continued this tradition with the Holy Path Assembly, but it lacked the intense and exciting competition. I remember that the method to activate this Ascension platform is controlled by the Takesu Misty Palace. After the nascent soul cultivators of the Holy Land obtain the Ascension quota, the current head of the Takesu Misty Palace activates the Ascension platform. Yuan King told Chen Mobai about the Ascension platform, and Chen Mobai's expression suddenly became clear. After all, this Ascension platform was crafted by the true King of the Void. In that case, we'll need to ask immortal Takesu to come over. Chen Mobai's words made Yuan King nod, and the latter added, "Besides the activation method, the most important thing is the ascension quotas allocated by the Linkang immortal realm. This matter may require some effort from you, young friend." According to the rules, the quota for ascending to immortality on the Ascension platform is controlled by the Heavenly Emperor, the 4 Heavenly Kings, and the 8 Heavenly Lords. However, these beings, being of noble status, would not concern themselves with such trivial matters, so they were reassigned to the various garrisons of the 33 Heavens Dao Prefecture. For example, how many nascent soul cultivators does Taehuangshan need to recruit this year? How many slots are allocated to local immortals, and how many to immortals in the lower realms, etc.? For a nascent soul cultivator in the Heavenly River realm, it is worth going bankrupt to travel to the Spirit Void immortal realm, even if it is one of the lowest ranked Dao states. As for Shengxi, with the immortal Lord Wu Wei around, as long as they are willing to wait, they will definitely be able to get a spot. After I have properly settled my disciple, I will return to the Spirit Void immortal realm to inquire about this matter. Chen Mobai nodded, indicating that there was no problem. After all, if the Ascension platform could be reopened, it would be a good thing for the 5 Elements sect. Not everyone is like him, able to easily overcome the 9 heavens tribulation. "A young friend, are you in your true form now?" Yuan King was shocked by Chen Mobai's words. He had always believed that Chen Mobai before him was a second primordial spirit. After all, the 5 Elements sect didn't have a heavenly refining tower, so that after ascension, one could return as a primordial spirit like him. The true King of Takesu has another method. Chen Mobai couldn't say anything about Gui Bao, so he could only vaguely say this. The 2 people present suddenly remembered Chen Mobai's identity as the junior brother of the true King of Takesu, and their faces showed a look of realization. "In fact, we should call you senior, young friend." At this moment, Yuan King realized that there was something wrong with how she addressed him, so she coughed lightly and wanted to change her address. "Oh, you all know. Just keep your own opinions to yourselves. I don't care about this empty fame." Chen Mobai was somewhat surprised, but he quickly realized that it was the 9 heavens demon-subduing ancestor and the Wu Wei immortal lord who had informed him, since his identity was a hot topic in the Linkang immortal realm. After saying this, Shengxi took his leave first, as he was going to inform immortal Lord Wu Wei of the news that the Ascension platform had been retrieved, so that he could arrange the quota in advance. Chen Mobai then went to the eastern wilderness with Yuan King. The disciples who left the 9 heavens demon-slaying sect all went there. Chapter 1440 Liu Wenbai forms his nascent soul. Chapter 1440 Liu Wenbai forms his nascent soul. "Brother Chen, my master and I have discussed it, and plan to lead our disciples to Dongli to reopen our mountain gate." In Baiyuan City, Yi Qing told Chen Mobai about the 9 heavens demon suppression sect's plans. As the place where the calamity was to befall, Tangshan Peak was not only destroyed in terms of its terrain, but also in its spiritual veins, which were completely destroyed in successive battles. Moreover, that place is now the anchor point for the return of the 3 realms. If Tangshan Peak is to be rebuilt, it will be under the watchful eyes of all the major powers in the 3 realms. With this in mind, Yuan King and Yi Qing decided to find another place to rebuild the mountain gate. Originally, Chen Mobai planned to carve out a piece of land within the 5 Elements sect's territory. For example, many immortal cities were developed in the desolate ruins, but the population was never very large. If the 9 heavens demon suppression sect could go there, the 5 Elements sect's borders would be as stable as Mount Tai. However, before he could even speak, Yi Qing and the others had already decided to go to Dongli. This surprised Chen Mobai. Why choose that side? If you want vast freedom, I can activate the reclamation order to help you open up the 8th human realm in the wasteland. In Chen Mobai's view, the reason the Nine Heavens Demon Slayer sect chose Dongli was because they did not want to be dependent on others. However, Dongli was previously the territory of the demonic path, and many resources have been plundered. The top spiritual veins have also been ruined by the secret techniques of the demonic path. If the Nine Heavens Demon Suppression sect goes there now, they may not even be able to find a suitable fifth-order spiritual land. Rather than that, it would be better to go to the undeveloped wasteland, and at the same time, open up a new territory for the human race. We did consider the desolate ruins, but Master believes that one day we will go back to rebuild Tangshan Peak. This will also give the disciples below a goal to strive for, so we chose Dongli, which borders the eastern land. Facing Chen Mobai, Yi Qing naturally had nothing to hide and told him everything they had discussed internally. In that case, I won't say anything more. If there's anything I can help you with, please let me know. After listening, Chen Mobai nodded, indicating his understanding. This is for the best. Although the major demonic forces in Dongli have been wiped out on the surface, there are still quite a few demonic cultivators who are active in the shadows, plotting a counterattack. However, with Tu Ming killed by Yi Qing, the Eastern Continent demonic path was basically in disarray. The Nine Heavens demon-slaying sect went there, which was a good opportunity to fulfill their duty of vanquishing demons and bring peace to the world. There is indeed something I'd like to ask Brother Chen to lend me. Yi Qing spoke up somewhat embarrassedly, as it was a rare occurrence for him to ask for help in his life. But it's Minger. Upon hearing this, Chen Mobai immediately knew who it was. That's right, I would like to ask junior nephew Zhuo to help me sort out the spiritual veins of Dongli. Yi Qing nodded. Although Zhuo Ming's cultivation was only at the nascent soul stage, his expertise in geomancy and spiritual plants was renowned throughout the 5 continents and 4 seas, thanks to his advancement of the longevity eyebrow of the moral sect. She is widely regarded as second only to Feng Qingshu. In the last century, Zhuo Ming has been the chief of the 5 element sects' heavenly curtain and earthly network array, adjusting and summarizing tens of thousands of spiritual veins of all sizes, and accurately controlling the delivery of spiritual energy to thousands of households. He is known as the second array master in the Eastern Continent. The Nine Heavens demon-slaying sect must be extremely careful in rebuilding its mountain gate, including choosing a site, selecting spiritual veins, and choosing formations. In this respect, Chen Mobai is the most capable, but his main focus is currently on taking care of Luo Yixuan, and he will have to return to the Linkang immortal realm later, so he cannot accompany the Jiyushan Dangmo sect to rebuild its mountain gate for a long time. Zhuo Ming has mastered all of Chen Mobai's skills, so Yi Qing wanted to invite her. Besides sorting out the spiritual veins of Dongli, the main goal is to learn from the 5 elements sect, gather the spiritual veins of a region, and synthesize them into a 6th-order system. Incidentally, this will also allow them to control the spiritual energy of the entire Dongli region. In this way, if a family uses too much spiritual energy in the future, it can be deduced that there are demonic cultivators hiding there, and their location can be precisely located and eliminated. No problem, Minger is free recently. Besides, the cultivation method she practices requires traveling thousands of miles and traversing countless mountains and valleys to truly understand its essence. Chen Mobai nodded, clearly agreeing. Over the years, Zhuo Ming has completed the deployment of the satellites of the Zhou Tian number. With the combination of all the spiritual veins within the 5 elements sect, the heavenly curtain and earthly network array has reached the 6th grade superior level. In his daily life, apart from paying attention to the new varieties of spiritual rice, he goes to the boundless desert. However, her cultivation level began to slow down during this period, and she was about to reach the bottleneck of the mid-stage of the nascent soul realm. When Yi Qing mentioned it, Chen Mobai had a sudden inspiration. Colorless and transparent Dao patterns lit up on the tortoise treasure, allowing him to suddenly see a glimpse of heavenly secrets. He knew that Zhuo Ming's trip to Dongli to sort out the spiritual veins there and help the Nine Heavens Demon Suppression sect rebuild its mountain gate was the opportunity for her to break through to the late nascent soul stage or even the great perfection stage. Could this be the path to destiny? Chen Mobai thought to himself that, after learning the truth about the turtle treasure from the true king of Taixu, the true function of this treasure began to manifest. This is the Tao fruit of the turtle spirit mother, the crystallization of the 3,000 great Taos. In theory, one can comprehend all the great principles through the turtle treasure. However, triggering any major path is unintentional. This time, thinking of Zhuo Ming, I glimpsed her destiny and opportunities, which seemed to be the great Tao of destiny controlled by the Heavenly Emperor. Of course, it could also be related to the acquired principles of fate, such as fortune and misfortune, destiny, prophecy, and so on. Soon, Zhuo Ming, having received his notification, arrived at the main hall. I will obey Master's orders. After hearing this, Zhuo Ming nodded obediently. Thank you for your hard work, junior apprentice. Yi Qing spoke very politely to Zhuo Ming. Rumble. Just then, a thunderclap suddenly resounded in the sky. Which disciple from the sect is undergoing tribulation? Upon hearing the thunder, Chen Mobai knew it was a heavenly tribulation. After sensing its scale, he discovered it was a tribulation for those forming their nascent souls, which aroused his curiosity. Even for the 5 Elements sect now, having one more nascent soul cultivator is a rare opportunity. It should be the eldest brother. Zhuo Ming immediately spoke up. Upon hearing this, Chen Mobai immediately sent his divine sense into his body and discovered that it was indeed his eldest disciple. He couldn't help but feel somewhat embarrassed. Wen Bai has reached the nascent soul stage. Why didn't you tell me? Our senior brother ascended the suspended platform after Uncle Qi Jiansu failed to reach the nascent soul stage. It has been some time since then. Perhaps he suddenly achieved perfect cultivation and broke through on his own today, without having time to inform our master. Zhuo Ming spoke up to smooth things over for Liu Wenbai, as she had always respected this kind and honest senior brother. Just in time for Wenbai's nascent soul banquet before you go to Dongli. Chen Mobai said with a smile. With his current cultivation level, he already knew the result of Liu Wenbai's nascent soul formation with a single thought. Sure enough, the thunder dissipated half a day later. Above the suspended platform, a nascent soul's spiritual light shot straight into the heavens. Above Liu Wenbai's physical body, the nascent soul he had condensed after surviving the heavenly tribulation sat atop a serene flying sword, riding a black-scaled arm guard, gesturing wildly with excitement. Just then a flash of silver light appeared, and Chen Mobai teleported over with Zhuo Ming. Upon seeing this scene, he couldn't help but smile. Disciple greets master. Liu Wenbai blushed and quickly channeled his nascent soul into his body, before bowing to Chen Mobai. Haha, no need for formalities, it's only human nature. Chen Mobai laughed and gestured for Liu Wenbai to come over so he could examine his eldest disciple's condition after he formed his nascent soul, and see if he needed the pure Yang Dao to help consolidate it. Very good, your foundation is solid. Once you break through, your realm will be stable. Chen Mobai nodded in satisfaction. Liu Wenbai has been a disciple of his for nearly 400 years and has always adhered to his teachings. Every bit of his cultivation has come from hard work, and he has never taken any elixirs. It is precisely because of this that he was able to go from having mediocre talent to becoming a nascent soul cultivator. Liu Wenbai, this disciple is ashamed. I have only just reached the nascent soul stage in my cultivation so far, and I have failed my master's reputation. Among Chen Mobai's disciples in the Xian ancient lineage, including Ku Zhu's 5 main disciples, only Liu Wenbai is not a nascent soul cultivator. Even Han Jiling, a 3rd-generation disciple, has already reached the nascent soul stage, which puts a lot of pressure on Liu Wenbai. Moreover, he was the senior disciple. Now that the nascent soul stage has finally been achieved, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Liu Wenbai's nascent soul banquet was not a grand affair, as it wasn't something to boast about. Apart from his own people from the 5 Elements sect, he only invited Yi Qing and his group from the eastern wilderness. Ming'er will be heading to Dongli soon. From now on, Wenbai, you will temporarily take charge of the affairs she is handling here in the sect. Liu Wenbai nodded repeatedly after hearing Chen Mobai's words. After the banquet, Chen Mobai personally saw Zhuo Ming off. Brother Yi, my disciple has never traveled far from home. I'll have to trouble you to take good care of him in Dongli. Chen Mobai said to Yi Qing, who nodded repeatedly, indicating that he would treat Zhuo Ming as his own disciple. Yuan Zhen, who was standing nearby, expressed the same sentiment. After Yuan Kink and Chen Mobai returned together, they examined her condition. Fang Kunchu, combining various pieces of information, devised a treatment plan to remove the 9 heavens Tao fruit from her body. After Yuan Qing did as instructed, Yuan Zhen indeed woke up from the illusion of inner demons very quickly. For Yuan Zhen, this was a blessing in disguise. She actually saw the path to breaking free from the shackles of the 9 heavens Tao fruit and cultivating emptiness within the illusion. Compared to her, Luo Yixuan wasn't so lucky. She's still unconscious since returning from the netherworld. Under these circumstances, Chen Mobai could only send her to Huanglong Cave and let Qingnu take care of her. At the same time, he used the telepathic communication technique to send the new netherworld scripture deduced by Feng Kunchu into Luo Yixuan's purple mansion sea of consciousness. However, while unconscious, Luo Yixuan was unable to receive this information, let alone cultivate. Fortunately, after refining the tortoise treasure, Chen Mobai was no longer the same as before. Considering the current situation, he thought of asking Granny Ming, who had previously been one with Luo Yixuan, to help him cultivate in Luo Yixuan's place. Of course, to prevent Granny Ming from usurping his position in the future, Chen Mobai revised the new netherworld scripture to ensure that Luo Yixuan would be in charge after the cultivation was completed. Next, we'll see when the ghost mother's incarnation will be able to break free from Luo Yixuan's body. Chapter 1441, The Gate of Primordial Beginning. Chapter 1441, The Gate of Primordial Beginning. In the Heavenly River realm, there was a lack of sufficient yin energy from the Yellow Springs. Originally, Chen Mobai had planned to reopen the Yellow Springs Road in the eastern wilderness. However, with Gui Bao's reminder, he soon discovered that the 7th-tier mandala was equivalent to a 7th-tier Yellow Spring spiritual vein. This should be the supreme treasure nurtured by the primordial spiritual veins of the netherworld. Given enough time, it may give birth to another innate deity. As a professional plant expert, Qingnu came to this conclusion after examining the mandala. However, she was unaware that after the death of the ghost mother, no more innate deities would be born in the netherworld. In a sense, this 7-tiered mandala is one of the remaining origins of the netherworld. With this in mind, it is believed that Luo Yixuan's future transformation into a ghost mother will surely achieve extraordinary things. Madam, then I'll trouble you to take care of Xuaner. Chen Mobai said to Qingnu that he needed to return to the Linkang immortal realm. Myro Palace, Void Department. Chen Mobai told Kongming about how he had obtained the beast plate from Tianling Zhenjun. Wanling did indeed get involved in what happened back then. After listening, Qmei nods in realization. This should not have brought any benefit to the Tao Lord of 10,000 spirits, so why would he secretly destroy the Eastern Imperial Court? Chen Mobai had always been very curious about this matter. After all, major powers all know that the royal family of the Eastern Imperial Court is a descendant of the Heavenly Emperor, and there are even several ascended human emperors. Once exposed, even Wanling, as a 7th-order true immortal, would likely face the fate of being sealed away. The struggle for the crown prince position has always been like this. In response, Sora Tenki said the following. There are quite a few descendants of the Heavenly Emperor. The most powerful one before was the lineage of the Heavenly Empress. The Heavenly Empress was born in the Star God Temple of the Northern Continent, which is the lineage of the 7 sages of creation. When the Linkang immortal realm was created, the Heavenly Emperor was the foundation of the realm, and the Heavenly Empress evolved into billions of stars. They were a match made in heaven, so they had a heavenly marriage and became an example for all living beings. However, the Heavenly Empress was jealous. One day, she glimpsed the future that the Heavenly Emperor had deduced using the great Tao of Destiny and learned that the next Heavenly Emperor would come from the Eastern Continent. Coincidentally, the Eastern Imperial Court was founded by the descendants of the Heavenly Emperor from the Xian Palace lineage. She believed that this would threaten her son's future throne, so she secretly instructed her own lineage to take action and destroy the Eastern Imperial Court. Although there is no evidence for this matter, the Heavenly Emperor later supported the Xian Palace lineage to grow stronger and even appointed Qianghua Daijun as the Heavenly Consort, putting her in opposition to the Heavenly Empress. Then came the power struggle in the harem between the Heavenly Empress and the Heavenly Consort. Apart from a transcendent force like Artaxu lineage, everyone else was more or less involved. In the end, naturally, Qianghua Daijun, who had the support of the Heavenly Emperor, won, and the Heavenly Empress was banished to the Cold Palace. Wanling was able to embark on the path of cultivation because he obtained half a scroll of the Taoist scripture from the one-star Tao ancestor of the Star God Temple. After merging with the Tao, it was also through the Empress's intervention that he was able to obtain the title of Tao Lord. Therefore, he contributed a great deal to the destruction of the Eastern Imperial Court. However, the Heavenly Emperor had no evidence, and after the Heavenly Empress was banished to the Cold Palace, Wan Ling also resigned from his post and went into seclusion, so he never took any action against him. The Sky Lord of Heaven revealed to Chen Mobai the true reason for the destruction of the Eastern Imperial Court. It turns out that the Star Palace is a lineage passed down by senior brother Yi Xing. This was the point that Chen Mobai was most concerned about after hearing this. When Chen Mobai entered Zixel Palace with the help of Dan Ding Dao, Ren's 3 Bluebird Dharma image, he paid special attention to the senior brothers and sisters sitting in the first row. The first cushion from the left has a star on it, representing the starry chessboard above. He is the eldest disciple of Taoist Zixel. Does the Star Temple still have any power? Has the one-star Tao ancestor also transcended and left? Chen Mobai asked the question, mainly because he wanted to know the fate of his senior brother, Yixingzi. The 7 sages of creation are clearly the 7 who sat on the first row of prayer mats in the Purple Cloud Palace. Among these, Chen Mobai knew that senior sister Tianhai had already transcended, while the Holy Mother Guiling had failed to prove her creation and perished. The remaining ones are one star, compassion, reincarnation, ancestral dragon, and heavenly phoenix. Among these, the innate treasure of compassion, the Xuanwang Pagoda, is broken, and its fate is likely grim. Xiaolong heard from Taixu Zhenwang that he had gone to pursue the ultimate of the great Tao of power, but at least there were incarnations of the great Tao such as the Heavenly Emperor and the Supreme Emperor Heavenly King. Tianwang was the progenitor of Tianfeng Valley in Guang'an, Nanju, but the strings of her 9 tribulations Heavenly Phoenix Qin broke. Considering the scene her fellow disciples saw when she repaired the strings, she must have also suffered a calamity. The only ones whose situations are unclear are Star Child and Reincarnation. I don't know about that. The 7 sages of creation have such cultivation levels that only Master can answer your question, Junior Uncle. Kongming Tianjin shook his head and said. Chen Mobai recalled Taixu Zhenwang's words. He was going with senior sister Tianhai to the depths of chaos to create a true great universe. But not everyone may follow. Chen Mobai wanted to ask the true king of Taixu, but after being summoned, the true king of Taixu returned to the Purple Cloud universe, so he could only keep these doubts in his heart for the time being. Next, Chen Mobai inquired in detail about the lineage of the 7 sages of creation. Originally, when the Heavenly River realm was first established, the territories were divided. The ocean belonged to the jellyfish, the eastern continent to the ancestral dragon, the southern continent to the Heavenly Phoenix, the western continent to the Compassionate One, the northern continent to the One Star, and the central continent to the Great Void. What about reincarnation? Chen Mobai counted on his fingers and realized that one lineage was still missing. After the Heavenly River realm was established, there was only so much land, not enough to go around. In the end, the jellyfish took the lead and gave the abandoned netherworld to the reincarnation ancestor. After hearing Kongming Tianjin's words, Chen Mobai felt that if he were to be reincarnated, he would probably be furious. That's so unfair. But unfortunately, they lacked the strength. When Chen Mobai entered Zixel Palace 3 times, his reincarnation was only at the Tao integration stage, so his share in the creation of the world was definitely the smallest. His inclusion among the 7 sages of creation was probably only due to the influence of the Zixel Taoist. Besides the Taixu heaven and the Xuanyuan heaven, there is another realm in the 3 saints realm. Which lineage of the 7 saints of creation does it belong to? Chen Mobai asked another question. Taixu heaven belongs to Taixu Zhenwang, while Xuanyuan heaven used to belong to senior sister Tianhai. Whose realm is the remaining one? Could it be senior sister Guiling's? It is called primordial heaven. It does not belong to the lineage of the 7 sages of creation. It enshrines the most precious treasure of the 3 realms, the gate of primordial beginning. Upon hearing this, Chen Mobai immediately recalled his red-haired senior brother who had fought against Samsara in Zixel Palace. The gate of primordial beginning was left behind in the 3 realms. Wouldn't the primordial great Tao of the Purple Cloud universe then be gone? Chen Mobai couldn't quite understand this. Because the true King Taixu once said that if he brought the Zixel Palace to the 3 realms, the 2 sides' sacred virtues would clash, causing chaos in the great Tao. Or is it that the primordial gate in the primordial heaven is a manifestation of the primordial great Tao of the three realms? Chapter 1442, Dongwang Villa. Chapter 1442, Dongwang Villa. This time I descended to the mortal realm and went to the netherworld to retrieve the ascension platform. Chen Mobai brought up this matter with Kongming Tianjun, wanting to ask how the quota for ascending to immortality was handled in the past. The fact that this thing was lost in the netherworld and not retrieved can be considered a deliberate act by the Lingkong immortal realm. This is because the various holy lands have complex relationships within the immortal realm. Giving a spot to one while excluding another would be a loss of face. Moreover, the conditions set for selecting cultivators to ascend to immortality were somewhat too simple for the nascent soul cultivators of the Tian realm. Although they raised the bar again, it was only a little troublesome for those forces with the background of a 7th-level true immortal Tao Lord. They couldn't stop them from sending their disciples up. Moreover, these people are directly included in the establishment after they come up, but there are only so many establishments. This batch of cultivators obtain the immortal substances of the immortal realm and have long lifespans, so they will remain in their positions for a long time. This causes the newcomers to be able to receive salaries without working, and they also squeeze out the local immortal people's examination and establishment quotas, causing great conflicts. When the Ascension platform was banished to the netherworld, the Heavenly Emperor was troubled by the fact that all the official positions in the 33 Heavens Tao Prefecture were full. He was overjoyed by this and contacted our Taixu lineage to cut off this path to shore. After listening to what Kongming Tianjun said, Chen Mobai finally understood that the Ascension platform had been lost in the netherworld, and the fact that none of the major holy lands of the Heavenly River realm or even the Lingkong immortal realm had sent anyone to retrieve it was the Heavenly Emperor's doing. From then on, the only way to ascend to the ranks was to overcome the most difficult path, the 9 heavens tribulation. Of course, the lineages of the 7 sages of creation, such as the Taixu Misty Palace and the Water Mother Palace, must have their own backdoors, so although they had some reservations about the Heavenly Emperor's decision, they also expressed their understanding. After all, the higher the threshold, the more conducive it is to the solidification of social classes. So in that case, I meant well but did something wrong. After learning the truth, Chen Mobai couldn't help but show a bitter expression. He had originally planned to open up a new path to immortality for all the deities in the Heavenly River realm and gain a good reputation. Fortunately, only a limited number of people know about this matter so far, and it is still under control. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Tens of thousands of years have passed since the Ascension platform was lost to the netherworld. After the great waves of change, 99% of the nascent soul cultivators who ascended to immortality have turned to dust. In the 33 Heavens Tao continent, there are some vacancies in the backward areas, and the vast majority of the native immortals are hopeless. It's just the time for the 3 realms to return to their origin, and for some fresh blood to be added to the Heavenly River realm. Kong Tianjun shook his head and analyzed the current situation in the Lingkong immortal realm for Chen Mobai. Because they breathe immortal matter from a young age, the native immortals have lifespans several times longer than the beings in the Heavenly River realm, so they are generally lazy and lack ambition. Previously, spurred by the ascension cultivators of the Heavenly River realm, many outstanding talents emerged among the local immortals in the competition. However, after the fall of the ascension platform, it has become so that in the 33 Heavens Tao Prefecture, it is difficult to produce even one void refinement cultivator in 1,000 years. After all, to cultivate the void, one needs to step into the great Tao and undergo its trials. If one succeeds, one succeeds. If one cannot succeed, no amount of time will help one progress. If the Heavenly Emperor is willing to reopen the Ascension platform, he can learn from past lessons and raise the selection criteria, tighten the threshold, and control the number of people. Alternatively, he could directly abolish the rule of assigning official positions to those who ascend to the platform, allowing those who ascend to the platform to compete on an equal footing with the local immortals. Upon hearing this, Chen Mobai also shared his thoughts. To prevent the Lingkong immortal realm from falling into a situation where all positions are filled, leaving those below with no hope of advancement and a stagnant state. These are all experiences that can be found in the immortal sect. I'll go and report the 2 things you mentioned, Junior Uncle, to the Heavenly Emperor. Kong Tianjun nodded. He wasn't really interested in any of this, since no matter what happened, the Taixu lineage remained detached from worldly affairs. However, since it was Chen Mobai who asked him for help, he was determined to get things done. Not long after, the Heavenly Lord Kongaming returned from the Ziwei Palace. Junior uncle, after the Heavenly Emperor obtained the Beast Plate, he used the Great Tao of Destiny to deduce that Wanling had indeed discovered the past that led to the destruction of the Eastern Imperial Court. He has now ordered the Northern Whirlpool Heavenly Lord of the Dew Department to capture him. Upon hearing this news, Chen Mobai breathed a sigh of relief. Although he is of noble status as the junior brother of the true King of the Void, the Tao Lord of Myriad Spirits is a true seventh-order true immortal. Given that their karmic ties are already intertwined, they will definitely have to fight each other when the calamity arises in the future. Now, by borrowing the Heavenly Emperor's hand, we can suppress the Lord of 10,000 spirits and finally put this heavy weight on our hearts. When Chen Mobai also achieves Tao in the future, even if all spirits are able to emerge, it will likely be the latter who worries about the former. Regarding the Ascension platform, it is the Heavenly Emperor's will that this favor be reserved for the next ruler. The Heavenly Emperor then mentioned a second matter, and upon hearing it, Chen Mobai was filled with admiration for the Heavenly Emperor's vision and methods. Reopening the Ascension platform is undoubtedly an immense act of kindness for all beings in the Heavenly River realm. Even for the Heavenly Emperor, it would bring more popular support and prestige, and even enhance his merit and virtue. However, the Heavenly Emperor gave up all of this in order to secure the throne for the next emperor. This is a reward from the Heavenly Emperor. The Beast Plate can only be returned to you, junior uncle, after all the spirits have been imprisoned in the immortal prison, convicted and sealed. Kongaming Tianjin handed a jade slip to Chen Mobai, who accepted it with a curious expression. They discovered that this was a contract, representing a cave dwelling with a seventh-order spiritual vein within the Myro heaven. This is the villa of a descendant of the Heavenly Emperor, who was also the first human emperor to ascend to the Eastern Imperial Court. It's just a pity that he lost his composure when vying for the position of Crown Prince and wanted to take the first step to reach the Tao integration stage. As a result, he died under the impact of the Great Tao. Kongaming Tianjin explained that the Heavenly Emperor had originally only intended to bestow some immortal stones and treasures, but at his urging, he changed it to this. He knew that Chen Mobai didn't have a cave dwelling in Mi Luo Tian, but instead had been renting a room at an inn for an extended period, which was extremely inconvenient. Each of the seventh-tier cave dwellings in the Mi Luo Tian region has a name and a surname, and even the Kong Tian Ming monarch could not arrange one for Chen Mobai. But the Heavenly Emperor certainly has more than enough. As expected after Kongaming Tianjin spoke, the Heavenly Emperor, remembering that Chen Mobai came from the eastern continent, immediately bestowed upon him this Dongwang Villa. "Thank you, Heavenly Emperor, thank you, my nephew." Overjoyed, Chen Mobai thanked the Heavenly Emperor in the direction of the Ziwei Palace, and did not forget Kongaming Tianjin beside him. A seventh-tier cave dwelling wouldn't fall into his hands so easily if no one spoke up for it before the Heavenly Emperor. The only problem is that after taking over the Dongwang Villa, you might be targeted by the Xian Palace faction. However, since you already have connections with them, junior uncle, you won't care. Besides, I don't believe that the Heavenly Consort would dare to attack you if she knew your identity. Kongaming Tianjin reminded Chen Mobai of something else. The reason why Dongwang Villa has remained vacant since that prince's death is mainly because those who are capable of obtaining it do not want to offend Taoist Qianghua, nor do they want to get involved in the struggle for the crown prince position. After obtaining the seventh-tier cave dwelling, Chen Mobai couldn't wait to move there. As a junior, Kumei-kun naturally offered his assistance. To celebrate moving to his new home, Chen Mobai only set up one table in the courtyard because he didn't know many people in the Linkang immortal realm. In addition to Kongaming and Jai Yuhan from the Void Department, he also invited Chuansu and Wu Wei from the Water Department, as well as Chen Feng, immortal official, who resigned from the Immortal Pool Palace. However, immortal official Chen Feng politely declined. He was self-aware. The moment he resigned, he only wanted to retire peacefully and did not want to get involved in the upcoming storms of the Mi Luo heaven. Chen Mobai originally wanted to invite the representative of the Nine Heavens Demon Suppression sect in the Spirit Void immortal realm. However, upon learning that it was not in the Mi Luo heaven, they gave up on the idea. Speaking of which, with Dang Mo's advancement to the innate Taiji Dao this time, do you think he can succeed? After a few rounds of drinks, immortal Lord Wu Wei brought up the topic first, which Chen Mobai had originally wanted to ask as well. All I can say is, I hope he succeeds. Sora Tenki responded very cautiously. But what this statement implies is that they are not optimistic. After all, since the three realms were created so many years ago, and after the seven sages of creation released the primordial Tao, only the four heavenly kings have successfully ascended to the highest level. Many, however, died on this path. They were originally sworn brothers with Kongming, and some were even stronger than him. For example, the first pure heavenly king was the eldest disciple of the compassionate Tao ancestor among the seven sages of creation, and was a manifestation of the innate spiritual bamboo. The founder of the pure and serene palace in the western continent, received the Taoist teachings left on the withered bamboo at the birthplace of the primordial spirit bamboo, which led to the creation of this sacred land. But when the Tao of Nirvana was ascended, the innate spiritual bamboo vanished into nothingness. The reason why the Sage of 1,000 Autumns was able to succeed as the pure heavenly king was mainly because the other three heavenly kings were all innate Tao lords, and he could only fill the vacancy. In this respect, the spirit realm is currently dominated by those with special abilities. Anyone as outstanding as the Sage of 1,000 Autumns, who directly merges with the primordial Tao, will be second only to the heavenly emperor in rank. If the demon slaying is truly accomplished, will the four heavenly kings become the five heavenly kings? Wu Wei asked with some curiosity. After all, one's status in the Linkang immortal realm is closely related to one's cultivation level. In the minds of all living beings, the innate Tao Lord is the heavenly king. That's unlikely. After all, the four heavenly kings aren't just titles, they also have fiefdoms. They can't just be given titles without any real power. Kongming Tianjin shook his head. He understood the heavenly emperor's personality and knew that, under normal circumstances, he would not reform the current organizational structure of the heavenly court. It is estimated that they will first promote Dang Mo to become one of the 8 heavenly lords. There is currently a vacancy in the dragon division. If they really want to appoint a heavenly king, it will definitely be a matter for the next heavenly emperor. Xu Su spoke calmly, but her words were incisive, causing everyone present to nod in agreement. That's getting ahead of itself. I wonder if the demon-slaying attempt will even succeed, haha. When this topic came up, Wu Wei couldn't help but smile and raise his glass. He definitely hoped that the demon-slaying would succeed, just like Chen Mobai. By the way, what are your thoughts on the matter of the Celestial Venerable? Chapter 1443, The Celestial Venerable merges with the Tao, reincarnation returns. Chapter 1443, The Celestial Venerable merges with the Tao, reincarnation returns. The Celestial Venerable is a legacy issue. If he can succeed, he will be considered part of your Xuan Yuan heaven lineage. It's just a matter of whether the mermaid ancestor will be willing to acknowledge it. Kongming Tianjin seemed somewhat gloating when faced with Chen Mobai's question. Despite hearing his words, Xuan Su Tianjin remained unfazed. After all, in Xuan Yuan heaven, the merfolk and human races, while not exactly irreconcilable, are known to be outwardly united but inwardly divided. The Celestial Venerable is an anomaly. If he succeeds in merging with the Tao and attaining innate life and death, he will become the most outstanding innate Tao Lord in the 3 realms. However, if he wants to go further, he will probably have to compete for the orthodoxy of the Xuan Yuan heaven lineage. Before the jellyfish transcended and departed, it left behind its heavenly river Tao fruit. This is an unparalleled Tao fruit containing the power of creation. It can only be refined after one has mastered the 5 primal immortal lights and fully integrated the 5 primal elements. The heavenly river Tao fruit is currently located in the Xuan Yuan heaven. Xuan Su Tianjin uses Su as his Taoist name, so he naturally cultivates the Tai Su Taoist scripture. He can also take that step into the innate realm at any time, but not everyone has the courage of Dang Mo. It's good to have some changes. The mermaid ancestor has monopolized the heavenly river Tao fruit for so many years. I think it's time to give it up. While Xuan Su Tianjin remained silent, Wu Wei Xianjun spoke. As the supreme inheritance of the jellyfish palace, the heavenly river Tao fruit contains the essence of the 5 great Taos of the primordial world, but it has always been occupied by the merfolk. Under these circumstances, Chuan Su and Dang Mo were able to cultivate to the level of the innate realm, demonstrating their extraordinary talent. If Chuan Su could comprehend the heavenly river Dao fruit and verify her understanding of the great Dao of Tai Su, she might have the confidence to take that step. What is the heavenly river Dao fruit? This was the first time Chen Mobai had heard this term, and he couldn't help but ask out of curiosity. Immortal Lord Wu Wei immediately provided an answer. Could this Dao fruit left behind by senior sister Tianhai be something like the turtle treasure? After listening, Chen Mobai thought to himself. Gui Ling and Tianhai coexisted, and the former was able to easily cultivate to the half-step creation realm, which was obviously because Tianhai left her with the power of creation. Theoretically, the first heir to this heavenly river Dao fruit should be Turtle Spirit, but since it remained in Xuan Yuan heaven, it's likely that Tianhai left Turtle Spirit with something even better. Rumble. Just as Chen Mobai was pondering whether the turtle treasure could be used as a heavenly river fruit, an unprecedented roar suddenly resounded in the void. Although Chen Mobai, who had refined the turtle treasure, could not control the void Dao of the spirit void immortal realm due to the Tai Su measuring ruler, his mastery of this Dao was unparalleled. Therefore, in an instant, he understood the reason for the void rumble. A terrifying being, powerful enough to make the void tremble and unbearable, was born. But this seems to be good news for the void. In the boundless void, countless colorful flowers of the great Tao faintly appeared, emitting a refreshing fragrance that enlightened even the immortals. Chen Mobai sensed that not only was the void trembling, but the other 3,000 great Taos were also showing joy at this moment, and the stars in the heavens shone with unprecedented brilliance, swaying in celebration. Such extraordinary celestial phenomena are being witnessed for the first time by the vast majority of beings in the three realms. I was utterly shocked. The seventh-tier true immortals present, including Kongming, as the most outstanding beings in the Lingkong immortal realm, naturally all sensed the tremor in the void. Compared to Chen Mobai's first encounter with the world, the two heavenly lords, Kongming and Chuanzu, exchanged a glance, their eyes filled with disbelief and shock. In a void devoid of light and darkness, where only black and white existed, a handsome young man wearing a wooden crown and a green robe sighed. So it really won't work in the end. As soon as he finished speaking, a towering tree appeared behind the boy with the wooden crown. Its once vibrant branches and leaves were now completely withered. With a cracking sound, the original spiritual plant seemed to have gone through billions of years, constantly cracking, then weathering away, scattering into grains of dust, and disappearing into this black and white void. As his physical form dissipated, the black and white light of life and death became even brighter. The Tao of life and death is not as superficial as you understand it. Just as the boy's body began to develop wood grain-like cracks, a cold voice rang out in this black and white void. Who is it? The boy in the wooden crown was none other than the celestial venerable, who had failed to achieve enlightenment and was on his deathbed. Soon he remembered something and sighed disrespectfully. The demon mother, I never expected that all my efforts would be paving the way for your return. I am truly unwilling to accept this. The innate Tao of life and death had already been merged with the ghost mother before him. Now that he has failed to achieve enlightenment, isn't that the return of the ghost mother? Ghost mother, I don't have such a title, you must be referring to my pet. But from the void, that indifferent voice uttered a sentence that made the celestial venerable's eyes widen in disbelief. A pet, may I ask who you are, senior? Even as he was on the verge of death, the celestial venerable could not resist his curiosity and wanted to know the origin of the mysterious voice that echoed in the great Tao of life and death. You cultivate the Tao of life and death, yet Tianhai never mentioned me to you. The indifferent voice rang out again, causing the celestial venerable to ponder deeply. Soon, the celestial venerable remembered that when he left the jellyfish palace, his master Tianhai had summoned him for his last lesson. In that class, the master not only told her the truth about why she killed the ghost mother, but also gave her a Taoist name. Reincarnation. Who are you? The celestial venerable had just uttered those two words when his own transformation into the Tao reached its final stage. You seem to have some knowledge, young man. Is there any unfulfilled wish you have? I will help you fulfill it after you return. A cold voice suddenly rang out from the celestial venerable's mouth at this moment. The celestial venerable looked down in shock and discovered that his original body, which had begun to weather away due to his failure to merge with the Tao, was now as if time had reversed. The cracks were healing, the withered tree was reborn, and tender buds sprouted, making it lush and verdant once again. What exactly is going on? The celestial venerable could no longer utter these words, for his body was no longer under his control. A moment later, the towering tree behind the celestial venerable lit up with black and white spiritual light, and a huge wheel fell down, gently held in the palm of the reborn wooden-crowned youth. Myro Heaven, Donghuang Villa. Senior brother this is. Jia Yuhan paled. In this strange fluctuation of the void she sensed a familiar feeling. Halfway through her sentence, she whispered to Kongming, "No one here is an outsider. There's no need to hide anything." After hearing this, Kongming said in a deep voice that Jia Yuhan's telepathic message confirmed his suspicion. "Yes, I was previously stationed in Moi Heaven, which is close to the Forbidden Land transformed from the heavenly venerable Qinghua realm. The current Tao fluctuations that shake the void and cause myriad stars to sway in celebration are almost exactly the same as the forbidden power that permeates that place." Although Jia Yuhan didn't say it explicitly, everyone present understood what she meant. The celestial venerable has merged with the Tao. "I never expected it to succeed," immortal Lord Wu Wei murmured to himself. He was considered young among the seventh-rank beings, so he had never witnessed the magnificent spectacle of someone from the spirit void immortal realm advancing to the innate Tao Lord level. Kongming and Xuanzu had both witnessed the sage Kainqiu's union with the Tao and his innate virtue, although it was different when golden lotuses sprang from the earth and golden light filled the sky, illuminating all directions. The tremors in the void were similar. That's why they thought of this from the beginning. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At that moment, one after another, the manifestations of the great Tao appeared in the sky above the 33 heavens. In the spirit void immortal realm, there are many powerful beings. Not only Chen Mobai and his group, but other true immortals and Tao lords also sense the tremors in the void caused by the perfection of the great Tao of life and death and the birth of a primordial Tao Lord. These great Tao forms, with starry skies above their heads and the void beneath their feet, opened their Dharma eyes and gazed upon the forbidden land located at the very edge of the spirit void immortal realm, almost bordering on chaos. In the eyes of these beings, they saw a towering deity who controlled life and death step out from the great Tao. Suddenly, the forbidden land, which resembled a whirlpool, dissipated from chaos, revealing a clear distinction between the pure and the impure, transforming into a circle of distinct black and white. This is a matter of life and death that all living beings fear like a tiger, but with a wave of the hand of a great deity, it transforms into a profound wheel that keeps turning in his palm. With each turn, Chen Mobai felt the tortoise-shaped object tremble. This is the convergence of the 3,000 great paths of the three realms under the life and death disk. As the creation Tao fruit of the turtle spirit mother, Gui Bao can clearly perceive this, so he reflects this process in Chen Mobai's mind. The celestial venerable has merged with the Tao and survived death, repairing the 3,000 great Taos. This is a great merit, and we, as celestial lords and immortal lords, should also go and pay our respects. The ethereal Dharma form of the Sky Lord stood atop the Myro Heaven and spoke to Chen Mobai and the others present. "Let's go together. After all, the celestial venerable is from the eastern continent, and we are from the same hometown." Before Xuanzu Tianjun could speak, Wu Wei Xianjun had already nodded in agreement. From a causal perspective, the celestial venerable had shown protection to the Taoist lineage, which was able to take root and continue its lineage in the eastern continent. Even though the Taoist patriarch had passed away, Wu Wei still went to offer his congratulations. "Junior uncle, would you like to come with us?" Kongming Tianjun asked. Chen Mobai naturally didn't want to go. After all, the relationship between him and the celestial venerable is rather complicated. After the one Yuan true lord passed away, his karma was obviously all returned to the heavenly venerable's original body. In the past, at the very least, the Hunyuan golden bucket would not have been preserved. Although Chen Mobai didn't particularly care for it, the Hunyuan golden cauldron was determined to stay with him, and he certainly couldn't give it away to the heavenly venerable. What would the other magical artifacts think of that in the future? Considering that even before the heavenly venerable had attained the Tao, he was able to remotely control the primordial golden cauldron, rendering it unable to resist, It goes without saying that now that he has advanced to the innate Tao Lord level, it is even more remarkable. Chapter 1444 Beacon of the Past. Chapter 1444 Beacon of the Past. Chen Mobai politely declined, citing his limited experience in the Void Realm. After the Celestial Venerable merges with the Tao, the first thing he will do is definitely to reorganize the cycle of reincarnation. The Beast Disc is also one of his targets. Is there anything that Junior Uncle wants to obtain from the Celestial Venerable? Kongaming nodded, remembering this, and asked Chen Mobai. For most of the major powers in the three realms, the reorganization of reincarnation is supported, especially since it allows them to curry favor with the newly promoted Celestial Venerable, the primordial Tao Lord. The only ones who would be unwilling are probably the 9 sons of the Ghost Mother in the underworld. The key to reorganizing the cycle of reincarnation lies within the 6-path subdisc, which also contains the great Tao intent of the Ghost Mother, something the Celestial Venerable would not let go of. According to Kongaming Tianjun, Chen Mobai would certainly not oppose Tianzun, and could use this opportunity to gain a huge favor from Tianzun, the innate Tao Lord. We'll talk about it later. Isn't the beast plate still in the Heavenly Emperor's hands? Chen Mobai couldn't think of anything he could get from the Celestial Venerable. He cultivated saintly virtue. Although Luo Yixuan might potentially develop towards the acquired path related to life and death in the future, she was only at the nascent soul stage, and considering such things was too far off for her. That's right, the Heavenly Emperor will probably have some negotiations with the Heavenly Venerable as well. After hearing Chen Mobai's words, Kongaming seemed to realize something and shook his head. Amidst the flashes of silver light, the 4 true immortal Tao Lords of Donghuang Villa had already departed. Forbidden Land. The boy with the wooden crown stepped out of the Qinghua realm expressionlessly. He first looked up in the direction of the 3 saints realm of the Lingkang immortal realm, and when he sensed that there was no pure yang, he couldn't help but snort coldly. But then he looked towards the deepest part of the starry sea, somewhere close to chaos. Unexpectedly, the great Tao that the first emperor rejected has actually become a force to be reckoned with. After sensing the true form of the heavenly emperor, samsara clicked its tongue. The innate great Tao of life and death in the 3 realms was infused by the Book of Life and Death, a supreme innate treasure of the purple heaven universe during the cycle of reincarnation. It is precisely for this reason that the Heavenly Venerable seeks to unite with the great Tao he created. Reincarnation controls life and death. At some point in the past, I saw when I would die, heaven and sea bring about creation, and all things return to nothingness. In the stillness, he who held the power of life and death would also disappear along with the annihilation of the great Tao. He originally thought that reincarnation was his own illusion. After all, life and death, like nirvana, are all transcendences of the great Tao, and there is no longer any concept of death. Even if the universe were to perish, he could still survive. However, after the creation of the Heavenly River realm, Tianhai forged the first strand of creation power, which was exactly the same as the beginning of death he had seen. Under these circumstances, reincarnation is not something to be gambled on, so a beacon of return was left in the great Tao of life and death in the 3 realms. When the Tao marker was left behind, reincarnation had already attained the pure Yang realm by creating a new world. However, the methods left behind by the pure Yang realm will inevitably be revealed to Tianhai, who is about to create something great. Therefore, reincarnation allowed the Ghost Mother to break out of the netherworld and rebel against Tianhai. After Tianhai shattered the great Tao of life and death, his Tao beacon was also hidden in the shattered state. After that, through the long course of time, they gradually moved towards their final death. Now that his beacon has been restored, this means that, as expected, his true form in the Zixel universe has verified the scene of his own death that he had seen before. However, the guiding light that has now been revived within the Celestial Venerable is merely the memory of all the reincarnations he left behind. Therefore, he is unaware of the cause of the annihilation he will face at the time of his death. After all, although he is only a primordial Tao Lord now, samsara can still vaguely sense the existence of the purple heaven universe. This means that the universe created by the purple cloud Taoist has not been extinguished. So here's the question. He did not perish, but his true form in the cycle of reincarnation was annihilated. Who did it? Considering that those capable of annihilating his true form would at least be those who wield the great Tao of ending, and might even be at the 9th rank, Samsara intends to conceal his identity carefully and investigate the truth in the name of the Heavenly Venerable. The clues had been in my sights for a long time. Tianhai. She brought about creation, and in doing so brought about annihilation. Previously, it was thought that the realm of creation might have triggered a stress response in the purple heaven universe, prematurely causing the end times and leading to the annihilation of the universe. As a result, these powerful beings were caught in the crossfire and returned to nothingness. But now that he has returned, Samsara feels that things are not so simple. We need to thoroughly investigate Tianhai. Thinking of this, Samsara's gaze turned to Xuan Yuanshan in the Three Saints realm. The Celestial Venerable's identity is just what I need. The Celestial Venerable is Tianhai's disciple. Now that he has been promoted to the innate Tao Lord, it is perfectly justified for him to return and take charge of Xuan Yuan Heaven. In this process, one's own level of understanding must also be improved as quickly as possible. Even a seventh-order Tao integration cultivator is still somewhat weak compared to a primordial Tao Lord. Ideally, one should be in a state of pure yang, so that one can feel a sense of security in the cycle of reincarnation. It just so happens that the great Tao of primordial chaos is also vacant in the three realms. Just as he was sensing the primordial Tao in his reincarnation, he discovered the existence of the primordial golden cauldron. After taking over the Heavenly Venerable's territory, Samsara, in order to disguise himself, also inherited all of the Heavenly Venerable's threads. This primordial golden cauldron, as a treasure for achieving enlightenment refined by the Heavenly Venerable's avatar, is also closely related to him. However, in order to merge with the Tao and attain the innate state of life and death, the Celestial Venerable clarified all the great Taos beyond life and death. So even now, the cycle of reincarnation cannot summon the primordial golden cauldron. However, for reincarnation, it is only a matter of time. He can do so once he has fully comprehended the great Tao of primordial chaos. Moreover, he currently possesses the life and death plate, a supreme innate treasure that underwent rebirth along with the great Tao, so he plans to let the primordial golden cauldron roam freely outside for a while. After figuring out what he needed to do next, Samsara saw one after another great Tao Dharma forms descending from the void. Congratulations on achieving Tao, fellow Taoist. The celestial realm will have one more heavenly king. This old man, Wanling, greets fellow Taoist Celestial Venerable. Each and every true immortal Taoist was polite and kind in their words and expressions when facing the reincarnation that had taken over the Heavenly Venerable's position. Greetings, fellow Taoists. Samsara also restrained its arrogant nature and returned the courtesy to these country folk from the three realms. That just so happens, he also wants to understand the current situation of the three realms through these people. Not long after, a female cultivator in a long blue-black dress with waist-length hair arrived at this forbidden place with three true immortals. Greetings to Lord Baixuanshan. The many true immortals present greeted the female cultivator politely. She was none other than the Heavenly Lord of the Dew Department. The Nine Heavens demon-slaying ancestor was her deputy, and like Wu Wei, she was a celestial lord. So it's my junior sister. After learning of Bai Xuantianjin's identity, Samsara spoke. Congratulations on your advancement to the innate Tao Lord, senior brother. However, I am currently on official business. I will come to celebrate with you properly after I have captured the criminal. Bai Xuantianjin bowed slightly and spoke, his gaze turning to Wanling Dajun, who was still unaware of what had happened, not far away. After receiving the Heavenly Emperor's decree, she immediately led all the true immortals of the Dew Department, except for the Demon Slayer, to capture him. However, when they arrived at the Myriad Spirits Cave, the latter happened to notice the Heavenly Venerable's Tao integration and came over to join the fun. She tracked herself here using the secret methods of the Great Tao, and that's how she got here. Oh! Amidst the astonishment of Samsara and the true immortal Tao Lords present, Bai Xuantianjin and the other three true immortals of the Dew Department teleported around Wanling, surrounding him completely. Your Majesty, what does this mean? When Wanling saw this, his heart trembled and he spoke angrily, but he had already figured out the reason. By order of the Heavenly Emperor, you are hereby arrested and imprisoned in the celestial prison. Please do not resist, lest you suffer unnecessary physical pain. Bai Xuantianjin spoke calmly, his eyes shimmering with the light of tides and waves. The boundless spiritual energy and vast starlight from all directions of the forbidden land rose and fell with his breath in that instant, transforming into an invisible prison that descended with all living beings at its center. The primordial Great Way. Seeing this scene, Samsara couldn't help but think to himself. The fact that Baixuan Tianjun was able to serve as one of the 8 heavenly lords alongside Xuanzu Tianjun naturally indicates that he had also cultivated the 5 great Tao scriptures of Xuanyuan Tian. She was practicing the original book of the primordial source, left behind by the jellyfish. Although he has not yet ascended to become a primordial Tao Lord, with a thought, the entire primordial spirit veins of the spirit void immortal realm are under his control. However, just to be on the safe side, she brought along the other 3 true immortals of the fighting department. After all, Wanling also inherited the lineage of the 7 sages of creation. I am innocent. Even the heavenly emperor cannot bend the law for personal gain. Wanling initially wanted to resist, but after mustering her courage and fighting against Baixuan Tianjun with her own Tao, she found that she was no match for him and could only surrender, hoping that the empress's lineage would rescue her. My only responsibility is to catch you. Baixuan Tianjun nodded slightly in response to Wanling's cooperation, expressing his attitude. After they are brought back, the heavenly emperor has already arranged how to interrogate them and how to convict them. The heavenly emperor had swallowed this insult for tens of thousands of years and was about to abdicate. Baixuan didn't think that all the spirits would get away with it. A square-faced true immortal from the Dubu department took out a set of talismans and affixed them to various parts of Wanling Daejun's body. Finally, he took out a set of shackles and bound Wanling. Only then did Baixuan release the suppression of the great Tao. At that very moment, the divine light of the great Tao descended once more. It was Kongming and his 3 companions. Greetings, fellow Taoists. My junior sister is here too. What a coincidence. As soon as Kongming and the others arrived, they saw Baixuan Tianjun, who had detained Wanling, and their faces showed surprise. Now that junior sister has finished capturing the people, as her senior brother, I plan to pay my respects to Master's statue. I wonder if you could take me to Xuan Yuan Heaven. At this moment, Samsara couldn't help but speak up as well. Upon hearing his words, Kongming and Jia Yuhen merely showed slight changes in expression. Xuanzu and Wu Wei, however, were shocked. Little did I know that our casual conversation at Dongwang Villa would actually come true. I still need to take Wanling back to Myro Heaven. If you can wait, senior brother, you can come with me to Myro Palace, where we can also pay our respects to the heavenly emperor. Baixuan Tianjun's answer caused Lun Hui to frown slightly. He doesn't want to meet the heavenly emperor yet, even if the one sitting in the Ziwei Palace is merely an incarnation. Why don't I take my senior brother there? At this moment, Xuanzu Tianjun spoke. Chapter 1445 Star Temple. Chapter 1445 Star Temple. When Baixuan Tianjun heard Xuanzu speak up, he was taken aback at first, then his eyes narrowed slightly as if he had thought of something. It seems junior sister Xuanzu intends to challenge the ancient rules of Xuan Yuan Heaven. Baixuan Tianjun was naturally pleased with this outcome. After all, she and Xuanzu were both human. Very well, junior sister, please lead the way. Reincarnation, however, did not care about Xuanzu's purpose. Although he had only just merged with the Tao of innate life and death on the surface, he was actually already at the 7th level of perfection. In addition, with the innate treasure of life and death disc, only the heavenly emperor in the entire Lingkong immortal realm could make him avoid the situation. This is the confidence that strength brings to reincarnation. Before Xuanzu took Samsara to Xuan Yuan Tian, she handed over the affairs of the water department to Wu Wei. Wu Wei actually wanted to join in the fun. After he merged with the Tao, he entered the Xuan Yuan Heaven. However, because he had never listened to any lessons under the guidance of the Water Mother, he was always disliked and had only studied the 5 great Tao books once. If this can change the long-standing pattern of Xuan Yuan Tian, it will at least not harm him. After giving their explanations, Xuanzu and Lun Hui transformed into silver light and disappeared from the spot. The other true immortals and Tao lords present also began to discuss among themselves. Those who can cultivate to this level are all wise and insightful individuals, and naturally they have also realized that Xuan Yuan Heaven, which has been occupied by the merfolk since ancient times, may be about to change. However, some true immortal Tao lords believe that if heavenly venerable, who has just been promoted to innate Tao Lord, acts out of line in Xu and Yuan heaven, the Jiao ancestor will find a reason to suppress him. After all, Xu and Yuan heaven is the highest heaven in the immortal realm, and it possesses a heavenly river Tao fruit, capable of creating the world. Junior sister, we're going the same way anyway, let's go together. After greeting the several true immortals and Tao lords he knew, Kongming spoke to Baixuan Tianjun, who was escorting Wanling. They all want to return to the Myro heaven. With my senior brother here, I don't have to worry about anyone intercepting me halfway. Baixuan Tianjun nodded gently. She knew the true nature of all beings. Although the Star Palace lineage had almost completely closed itself off in the spirit void immortal realm after the Empress was banished to the Cold Palace, it was still the lineage of the seven sages of creation, and not a single seventh-order true immortal Tao Lord was missing. The Heavenly Emperor's decree to capture all spirits clearly indicates that he has found crucial evidence and is settling old scores. At that time, it may not only be Wanling, but also the Star Temple and even the Empress in the Cold Palace, who may be subjected to even more severe punishment. Even if true immortals are immortal, the Heavenly Emperor, with his level of power, can banish them from the three realms or even banish them into chaos. Therefore, when Baixuan Tianjun made this move, he also summoned the other three true immortals from the Du Department, because he was worried that they would be besieged by the true immortals of the Star God Temple who had received the news on the way. The Heavenly Emperor hasn't abdicated yet. 7 stars wouldn't be so irrational. Kongming, however, did not believe that the true immortals of the Star Palace had the guts to do so. As a disciple of the true king of Taixu, he knew just how terrifying the pure Yang realm was. If the 7 stars dared to do this, it would give the Heavenly Emperor a reason to wipe them all out in one fell swoop. What Kongming didn't know was that the 7 true immortals of the Star God Temple, after receiving the news that Wanling had been captured by the Du Department, were indeed waiting on the only road from the Eastern 8 heavens to the Mi Luo heaven. Senior brother, there are now Kongming Tianjun and Yuhan Xianjun from the Void Department. The Jade Balanced Tao Lord of the Star God Temple, whose treasure for attaining Tao was a jade mirror, frowned upon seeing the procession escorting the myriad spirits Tao Lord through the mirror, and spoke to the heavenly pivot Tao Lord at the head of the procession. 4 from the Fighting Division and 2 from the Void Division. It seems the Heavenly Emperor intends to take action against our lineage. Tianshu Daojun was a middle-aged Taoist wearing a cloth crown. He looked at the true immortal Taoists Kongming and others reflected in the jade balance mirror, and his face was icy. Kongming is the direct descendant of the true king of Taixu. He might have the foundation given by Chen Yang. Let's retreat first. Anyway, Master has already returned. Once Master recovers to his full potential, both the Heavenly Emperor and the true king of Taixu will have to bow down. There's no need to fight to the death with the 2 heavenly lords here for the sake of all living beings. Beside Taoist Tianshu, an old man with a goatee shared his thoughts. He is Tianji Daojun and the eldest of the 7 stars, but he joined the Tao later, so he is ranked 3rd. However, the Tao lords present all respected Tianji and agreed with his views. Only one female Taoist priest remained silent. Junior sister, what do you think? When Tianshu Daojun, the eldest disciple, saw Tianshuan Daojun beside him so silent, he knew that she was somewhat unwilling, so he couldn't help but ask. The female Taoist priestess had exquisite features and a fairy-like appearance. She was the second among the 7 stars of the Star God Temple and the elder sister of the Heavenly Empress Yao Guang Daojun. When the Eastern Imperial Court was destroyed, it was she who instructed Wan Lingdong. That's why she was most stressed about this matter. I'll listen to my senior brother. However, Taoist Tangshuan remained very calm, knowing that with the addition of Kongming and Jai Yuhan, the 6 of them would definitely be unable to bring Wanling back from Baixuan Tianjun. In that case, there's no need to take action and escalate the conflict. Then let's wait for Master. After we return, we'll activate the Zhou Tian He Luo star array to prevent the Heavenly Emperor from really going to settle scores. Hearing Tangshuan's rationality, Tianshu nodded with satisfaction and gave his instructions. Yes, senior brother. Kongming, who was operating the void and leading everyone to the Myro heaven, suddenly looked at the distant starry sky in the north with some doubt. What's wrong? Seeing that Kongming had slowed down, Jai Yuhan asked. It seems that a fellow Taoist is observing us through the stars, but their methods are very sophisticated, and I have no way of tracing who it is. Kongming did not hide anything and told him about his discovery. As the direct descendant of the true king of the void, although he did not align with the great Tao of the void, his sensitivity to the void was second only to Chen Mobai, who had refined the turtle treasure. However, as a seventh-order true immortal of the same era as him, Lord Yuheng naturally thought of this as well, so he only used his Tao-attaining treasure to illuminate it for a moment. Those are probably the few from the Star Palace. Now it depends on whether the Heavenly Emperor will harden his heart and pave the way for the next Heavenly Emperor, said Baixuan Tianjin calmly. The Heavenly Emperor's decision to pass on the throne was a momentous event that would shake the very foundations of the world for other powers. However, for these two heavenly lords who came from the Three Saints realm, as long as they did their own thing, they could simply observe without getting involved. As one of the lineages of the seven sages of creation, the Star Palace was also a minister who supported the Heavenly Emperor in becoming the ruler of the three realms. After the Heavenly Empress was banished to the Cold Palace, it remained silent until now because the Heavenly Emperor did not pursue the matter at the time. Now that Wanling has been captured and the truth has been revealed, the upcoming struggle for the throne will definitely be fierce. Chapter 1446 The Holy One, Blessed by Heaven. Chapter 1446 The Holy One, Blessed by Heaven. After returning to Miluotian, Kongming immediately went to Donghuang Villa to inform Chen Mobai of what had happened in the Forbidden Land. Wanling has been captured. Good, as expected of the Dubu, the #1 fighting force, their actions are swift. Chen Mobai wasn't particularly concerned about the Heavenly Venerable's attainment of Tao, since he already knew the outcome. However, the capture and arrest of Wanling made him smile slightly, and he couldn't help but praise the Northern Whirlpool Heavenly Lord. There's one more thing. On the way back this time, we encountered someone spying through the stars. I guess it was one of those senior brothers from the Star Palace. Wan Ling is one of their people. If he is convicted this time, it will definitely implicate the Star Palace. It all depends on whether the Heavenly Emperor wants to settle accounts for what happened back then. Kongming Tianjin recounted the incident he encountered upon his return. As the Heavenly Lord of the Void Department, he possessed almost all the intelligence on the major forces since the founding of the Linkang immortal realm. Regarding the destruction of the Eastern Imperial Court in the Heavenly River realm, the truth had actually been deduced back then. All that was missing was the evidence to prove it and some key details. Now, if Wanling is willing to speak up and reveal the lineage of the Heavenly Empress as a witness, then the Heavenly Emperor can take action according to the rules. Would all souls agree? Chen Mobai asked. Kongming shook his head at this, believing it to be almost impossible. Since the Queen chose Wanling as the executor, she would obviously consider the possibility of exposure, so he must be a tough nut to crack. Moreover, true immortal Tao Lords are immortal and indestructible, so there is nothing that can frighten them anymore. But I think all spirits would be willing. Chen Mobai, however, had a different opinion. Oh, I'd like to hear more about it. Kongming Tianjin listened with a curious expression. Although I have only been in the Linkang immortal realm for a short time, I know that the Heavenly Emperor is no ordinary person. Since he has taken action, it will definitely not be all bark and no bite. Moreover, things are different now. The Empress's lineage has lost power. If the Heavenly Emperor is willing to make some promises to all living beings, the latter will probably be pragmatic for the sake of freedom and the future. Although true immortals exist in harmony with the Tao and are immortal, this only applies to those of the same level. Chenyang's methods are unfathomable. As the embodiment of the ancestral dragon's great Tao, the Heavenly Emperor may well possess the means to completely annihilate a true immortal. Moreover, even if he cannot kill him, sealing him away for life is practically the same as being dead. The seal set up by the Heavenly Emperor with the power of pure Yang is so powerful that only the true King of the Void can break it in the entire spirit void immortal realm. But Wanling certainly doesn't have that much influence. That's true, but is the Heavenly Emperor really willing to completely eradicate the Empress's lineage before abdicating? Moreover, as the lineage of the seven sages of creation, the Star Palace has unfathomable strength and may have its own means to contend with the pure Yang. In response to Kongming's doubts, Chen Mobai used a phrase he had said before. The struggle for the crown prince has always been like this. The Heavenly Emperor has probably already chosen his successor and is paving the way for him. After analyzing the Heavenly Emperor's somewhat radical actions, Chen Mobai came to a conclusion. Who is it, Yuan Jai? Kongming Tianjin agreed with Chen Mobai's opinion and began to speculate about who the Heavenly Emperor had chosen to succeed him. No matter who it is, they must be a descendant of the Heavenly Emperor and not from the lineage of the Heavenly Empress. The lineage of Xi'an Palace is indeed the most likely. Chen Mobai was not very familiar with the Linkang immortal realm. Among the famous descendants of the Heavenly Emperor, he had only dealt with Yuan Jai. Or they'll become enemies. If it really is Yuan Jai, then I'll have to stay at the Donghuang Villa less often in the future and spend more time with Qing Nu in the Tian realm. Or how about we try to stop it? Or should we give Yuan Jai a chance to reconcile with himself? Just as Chen Mobai was pondering how to get along with Yuan Jai if he became the second Heavenly Emperor, a silver talisman flew in from the sky and was caught by Kongming, whose expression was solemn. This is the highest level communication talisman from the Void Department. No matter where it is activated in the Spirit Void Immortal realm, it will teleport through the void and land in the hands of the Heavenly Lord Kongming in the shortest possible time. Throughout the long history of the Void Department, this level of communication talisman has been used no more than 10 times. Each one was a major event that changed the landscape of the spirit realm. After Kongming accepted the message, he immediately began to use the incantation to interpret the message talisman. After reading the above content, he was horrified. Yuan Jai is dead. Upon hearing Kongming's words, Chen Mobai was also greatly surprised. How could that be? Didn't those 2 7th-tier golden dragons go with them? With them around, who could kill Yuan Jai? Although Chen Mobai easily melted the Nether Dragon and the other 9 sons of the Ghost Mother in the Netherworld using the power of the Purple Cloud Palace, those were all incomplete 7th-tier forms. Kang Jin and Kang Yu, these 2 Kang Jin dragons, are different. They are united with the complete Great Tao of the Spirit Void Immortal Realm. Moreover, as former Dragon Lords and Immortal Lords, their strength is top-tier even among 7th-tier beings. Within the 8 heavens of the West, unless it is the Thousand Autumn Sage, a primordial Tao Lord who takes action, absolutely no living being can kill Yuan Jai under the protection of these 2 7th-order golden dragons. Kongming said with a solemn expression, a demonic master who has merged with the innate Great Tao has appeared in the burning heaven. The Heavenly Court's army did not have this intelligence. Yuan Jai was also ambitious and always wanted to be the first in every battle. After reclaiming the western 8 heavens that had been occupied by the rebel army, he even invaded the land of exile, wanting to wipe out the burning heaven as well. However, he did not expect to lose his life directly. Kang Jin and Kang Yu, even when they joined forces, were suppressed and imprisoned by that mysterious demonic master, and the sinful immortal army they led was completely wiped out. This is all the content of the highest level message talisman sent by the personnel of the Zubu army, who accompanied the army to suppress the rebellion in the West for 8 days. Chen Mobai's eyes widened in shock after hearing this. The primordial Tao, how come there's not a single sign of it? It should be known that when the celestial venerable merged with the Tao and transcended life and death, the void trembled and the great Tao shone brightly. All the true immortals and Tao lords in the entire spirit void immortal realm sensed the related commotion. Even if a master of the demonic path prefers to hide, and their breakthroughs are done in secret, such breakthroughs will definitely shake the great Tao and cannot be concealed. It's estimated that he broke through in the chaos, or perhaps he's a primordial Tao Lord from outside the spirit void immortal realm. Kong Tianjin could only think of these 2 answers, and Chen Mobai was even more shocked. Is it not the immortal realm of spirit void? Could it be from the Purple Cloud universe? Do you know what kind of innate great Tao it is? Chen Mobai immediately asked, but Kongming shook his head, indicating that the message talisman did not contain such information. Junior uncle, this matter is of great importance. I need to go to the Ziwei Palace to report to the Heavenly Emperor. After Kongming finished speaking, he transformed into a streak of silver light and disappeared from the spot. After Chen Mobai came to his senses, his expression turned strange. Because this is a good thing for him. After all, both Yuan Jai and the 2 7th-tier Kang Jinlong had become his enemies. Although the Heavenly Emperor has punished him, the thread has not been broken. In the future, whether Chen Mobai merges with the Tao or Yuan Jai ascends to the throne of the Heavenly Emperor, this old debt will definitely be brought up again. Now that Yuan Jai is dead, Kang Jin and Kang Yu have also been suppressed by a mysterious demonic master. There was also Yuan Yin, who was incorporated into the sinful immortal army. A mere cultivator at the void refinement stage, he was probably beyond dead. It's all gone. This is just like when all living beings were captured by the heavenly emperor's men. They won't have to worry about these karmic consequences in the future. Chen Mobai could only think of one explanation for how. While he was sitting at home doing nothing, several of the biggest enemies in the Linkang immortal realm were taken care of by others by such a twist of fate. That is, those who are virtuous will be blessed by heaven. Anyone who opposes him will be courting death. Thinking of this, Chen Mobai looked up at the sky again. Above the Myro heaven lies the Three Saints realm. Among them, the merfolk in Chuan Yuan heaven also have a connection with him. Judging from the fate of Yuan Jai and the others, has the celestial venerable already fallen out with the mermaid ancestor? Just as Chen Mobai was thinking this, in the boundless sky in the chaos, a vast pool of water erupted with an unprecedented violent tremor. How dare you? You dare to lay a hand on the statue of your master. Today, I have no choice but to use the heavenly river Tao fruit to teach this unfilial disciple a lesson on behalf of my master. A handsome merman with incredibly weathered eyes flew out of the chaos pool, reaching out to grasp the sky. A vast Tao fruit, devoid of light and color, yet seemingly encompassing the 33 heavens Tao continent and even the entire three realms, flew out from the chaotic void and merged into the merman's brow, transforming into a Tao seal that coiled like a snake. When the tiger is away, the monkey becomes king. Back in the jellyfish palace, you were just a servant boy who served tea to master, yet you dare to call yourself an ancestor in Chuan Yuan heaven and give me attitude. As black and white shifted, the proud figure of Samsara flew out from the chaos pool, looking disdainfully at the merman above. Soon, more beams of true, immortal spiritual light appeared and landed on the chaos pool. This is Chuan Yuan Tian, the foremost of the three sacred realms. In the past, after the jellyfish opened up the Linkang immortal realm, it comprehended the workings of creation here before finally transcending and leaving. After the jellyfish left, the boys and girls who usually served her tea concealed the news until other disciples of the jellyfish palace noticed something was wrong and came to Chuan Yuan Tian together. Only then did they learn that the jellyfish had transcended. But at that time, the mermaid ancestor, who was still a child, had already refined the heavenly river Tao fruit and taken control of the sacred realm of Chuan Yuan heaven. The ancestor of the merfolk said that the jellyfish had left it to him, but the other disciples naturally did not believe him. However, even if they joined forces, they were helpless against the merfolk ancestor who could now use the Chuan Yuan heaven. Furthermore, with the promise of the 5 great Tao books and the comprehension of the heavenly river Tao fruit by the mermaid ancestor, the other true immortals of the Water Mother Palace had no choice but to accept this fact. This matter has always been a taboo in the heart of the mermaid ancestor. What he disliked most was being called a monkey in a crown by outsiders. Originally, when the celestial venerable came to Chuan Yuan heaven to acknowledge his ancestor and return to his clan, the mermaid ancestor, although he did not like that the celestial venerable was a primordial Tao lord, was still planning to accept it despite his reluctance. There's a rule in the jellyfish palace. After reaching the 7th level, one can formally enter the profound origin heaven and comprehend the original text of the 5 great Tao scriptures once. If it's a primordial being like a heavenly venerable who has heard the jellyfish's lectures, the mermaid ancestor can even bring out the heavenly river Tao fruit for them to comprehend. This was also the agreement reached between the mermaid ancestor and the other true immortals and Tao lords of the Water Mother Palace. However, after hearing this, the celestial venerable frowned and said that he not only wanted to see all the original 5 Tai Tao books, but also the heavenly river Tao fruit. Upon hearing this, the mermaid ancestor laughed in anger and asked, "Why should I?" The celestial venerable snorted coldly and took out the life and death disc, indicating that he was the first innate Tao lord under the Water Mother Palace, based solely on this innate treasure in his hand. The mermaid ancestor was furious at this, and the two sides fought fiercely. Xuan Su Tianjin also felt a sense of unspeakable illusion about this. Although she had thought that the heavenly venerable's union with the Tao and the innate life and death would definitely clash with the mermaid ancestor when he came to Xuan Yuan Tian to worship the Water Mother, she did not expect it to happen so soon. The talks broke down in just a few words. When I was listening to his lectures, why didn't I notice he was so arrogant? Besides Xuansu, there were other true immortals and Taoist masters present, some of whom were so ancient that they were primordial beings who sat under the jellyfish and listened to the teachings with the heavenly venerable. Seeing that the heavenly venerable, who showed no respect to the mermaid ancestor and directly offered his Tao-attaining treasure to challenge her, now realized that he had misjudged her back then. The mermaid ancestor gave Xuansu a cold look. In his view, the celestial venerable was brought by Xuansu, which clearly meant she wanted to embarrass him, and perhaps she was already planning to join forces with the celestial venerable. Since that's the case, then let me show you the power of the heavenly river Tao fruit. Driven by a fierce determination, the mermaid ancestor disregarded everything else and decided to show everyone present his formidable strength. The Milky Way flows mightily, transforming the turbid world into a python. With a fierce shout, the boundless chaos above Xuan Yuan heaven suddenly opened its terrifying maw like a long river, or a giant chaotic python capable of devouring the 33 heavens, swallowing the heavenly venerable and Xuan Su whole. Ancestor of merfolk, what do you mean by this? Upon seeing this, Xuan Su's expression turned cold. He used his Tai Su immortal light to dodge before the chaos python could swallow him. Why bother with this pretense? If you're not convinced that I'm in charge of the heavenly river Tao fruit, just say so. There's no need to send a hothead like the heavenly venerable to lead the charge. Or do you know you're no match for me? The mermaid ancestor, however, thought he had seen through the truth and no longer held back his words when speaking to Xuansu, his junior sister whom he had disliked for a long time. Nonsense, but you're right about one thing. I do disagree with you. No, I should say I look down on you. A beast, no matter how splendid and magnificent its clothes, is still a beast. Now that things had come to a head, Xuansu stopped pretending and let out all the pent-up frustration she had been holding in. You vile woman, today I will suppress you and the heavenly venerable together, so that you will never be free for all eternity. Upon hearing Xuansu's words, the merfolk's handsome face turned bright red. Clearly, Xuansu's words had struck a nerve and completely broke him down. Just as the mermaid ancestor summoned the chaos python to devour Xuansu, a black and white light suddenly shone from the python's mouth, instantly slicing across its entire body and splitting it in two. Amidst the humming sound, the proud figure of Samsara holding the wheel of life and death appeared. Chapter 1447 Demon Lord. Chapter 1447 Demon Lord. Myro Heaven, Donghuang Villa. Chen Mobai sensed that the void at the highest point of the Lingkang immortal realm was trembling continuously, and that the great Tao, which was terrifying enough to shatter the void and reverse the universe, was colliding. Judging by the direction, it's Xuan Yuan heaven. Did the heavenly venerable really fight the mermaid venerable? Chen Mobai looked up into the depths of chaos, thinking to himself. Just then a flash of silver light appeared, and Kongaming reappeared in the same spot. Junior uncle, something terrible has happened. Xuan Yuan Tian has suddenly disappeared from the Lingkang immortal realm. Chen Mobai didn't quite understand at first. What does it mean that Xuan Yuan Tian has disappeared? The literal meaning has been erased. But this is the cave dwelling left behind by senior sister Tianhai, the creator, and even if the true king of Taixu came, he could not erase it. Or is it similar to the mountain enclosure in Tianhe realm? The celestial venerables merging with the Tao and his return to Xuan Yuan heaven to worship the Water Mother attracted many true immortal Tao lords from the Water Mother palace lineage. However, just now, the heavenly empress sensed that the great Taos of these true immortals had vanished. Kongaming's urgent explanation startled Chen Mobai, who immediately used the void Tao to sense the situation, and sure enough, discovered that the originally orderly 3,000 Taos had suddenly become chaotic. At the same time, Chen Mobai discovered that the power of the Taixu measuring ruler entrusted to his left hand was also beginning to dim. The Great Void measuring ruler is the void great Tao of the celestial realm. It is also the framework upon which the 3,000 great Taos depend, but after the great Taos on it began to disappear, this framework naturally began to become unstable. Does this mean that these true immortals and Tao lords have perished? Chen Mobai asked in some shock. After all, it was only with the help of the jellyfish that the Ghost Mother, a primordial Tao Lord, was killed, and the consequences were only barely made up for when the Heavenly Venerable merged with the Tao. Now, with so many true immortals and Tao lords falling from the jellyfish palace lineage, doesn't that mean the world is about to descend into chaos? It's not that it has perished. The foundation of the great Tao is still there, but its power has disappeared. It must be that it is trapped in the Xuan Yuan heaven in chaos, isolated from the three realms, which is why this situation exists. As a heavenly lord of the Void Department, Kangming was quite knowledgeable. He had seen similar situations in the Linkang immortal realm before. A true immortal Tao lord wanted to go further and went into the chaos, hoping to use the chaos, which could evolve into all Taos, to improve his acquired Tao. However, he was directly melted by the chaos. However, since true immortal Tao lords are immortal and indestructible, after being melted by chaos, they were reborn in the great Tao of the immortal realm using pre-existing methods. However, their cultivation level was directly reduced to the lowest point of the 7th rank, and the entire great Tao also withered and weakened. In that state, a true immortal Tao Lord is extremely vulnerable. If the Heavenly Emperor or even a primordial Tao Lord were to intervene, they could achieve the same feat as when the jellyfish killed the Ghost Mother. The great Tao, along with the true immortals who had merged with it, were shattered. Hearing this, Chen Mobai understood why Kangming was anxious. At any other time, we could simply wait for the true immortals and Tao lords in Xuan Yuan heaven to be resurrected. But now, in Fen Jin heaven, a demon lord who has merged with the primordial Tao has emerged. If they see such an opportunity, even the deaths of a few true immortals and Tao lords could throw the entire spirit void immortal realm, and even the three realms, into chaos. The Heavenly Emperor's true form has personally gone to Xuan Yuan heaven, and also hopes to ask Master for help. Kangming explained the purpose of his visit. He hoped that Chen Mobai would go to Takesu heaven with him. It is my duty. Chen Mobai nodded, and without wasting any time, went directly to Takesu heaven with Kangming. Young Master, I have informed the Master and the young Master about this matter. The Master has not yet responded, and the young Master has already gone to Xuan Yuan Tian. At the entrance of Takesu heaven, Kong Tongzi, who had received advance notice from Chen Mobai via communication talisman, immediately explained the situation upon seeing the two. In that case, we can only place our hopes on the Heavenly Emperor and our Uncle Master. Upon hearing this, Kangming sighed and said, the Xuan Yuan heaven is shrouded in the power of the heavenly river Dao fruit, and only those who have been granted permission by the mermaid ancestor and those who cultivate the 5 great Dao books can enter. Under the current circumstances, it is certainly impossible to let Wu take any risks. After returning from Takesu heaven, Kangming was summoned by the Heavenly Emperor once again. Chen Mobai knew that the Heavenly Emperor in the Ziwei Palace was merely an incarnation, and that the true Heavenly Emperor had probably made some discovery in the Xuan Yuan heaven. Junior uncle, I'll go see the Heavenly Emperor first. I'll let you know if anything happens. After Kangming finished speaking, he hurriedly disappeared again. Standing in his Donghuang villa, Chen Mobai sensed the increasingly turbulent void of the Linkang immortal realm and felt a vague sense of foreboding. After receiving guidance from the true king of Takesu, Chen Mobai gradually unlocked the true power of the turtle treasure, a treasure of creation. In addition to the complete Great Tao of Void, the other 3,000 Great Taos that fuse the power of creation also began to emerge from the turtle treasure, reflecting in his mind when needed. He had previously seen a similar destiny reflected in Zhuo Ming, and this time he had the same feeling. However, compared to Zhuo Ming's infinitely bright future, what she saw when she looked up this time was a dark and broken sky, a vast expanse of dark red burning blood. Will the immortal realm face calamity in the future? Chen Mobai was somewhat incredulous. After all, this place is guarded by the Heavenly Emperor, a pure Yang being, and protected by the true King of the Void, and even by the great power of creation left behind by the Heavenly Sea. Even if the Demon Lord were to be reborn in this world, he would likely be suppressed by the true King of the Void once again. So who could possibly turn the celestial realm into ruins in the future? It seems I only glimpsed a corner of the future celestial realm. Perhaps the western 8 heavens would be reduced to ruins in this war, rather than the entire 33 heavens. Chen Mobai had this answer in mind, and his Tao of Destiny was only partially illuminated by the turtle treasure, so it was definitely not comparable to the Heavenly Emperor. If the immortal realm is truly destined to suffer a calamity in the future, then the Heavenly Emperor, who holds the reins of destiny, will undoubtedly be the first to witness it. As the ruler of the three realms, he would definitely try everything he could to stop it. But at this moment, Chen Mobai remembered that the heavenly emperor was about to abdicate. Could it be that he saw the future, and that's why he wants to escape? No, no, no. Senior Brother Yulong's embodiment of the great Tao would certainly not be so lacking in vision. Just as Chen Mobai glimpsed a corner of the future due to the changes in Xu and Yuan Tian, and was filled with anxiety and uncertainty, outside of burning heaven, the heavenly army led by the Sage of Thousand Autumns had already completely surrounded this place of exile. The Sage of 1,000 Autumns who led the army stood at the very front. He was 8 feet tall, broad-shouldered, and powerfully strong. Master, it's the heavenly emperor's decree. A handsome young man in white flew over and respectfully handed a jade slip he had just obtained to the Sage of the 1,000 Autumns. The young man was a disciple of a sage and a descendant of the heavenly emperor, and his Taoist name was Guangming, meaning brightness. Well, after reading the jade slip, the sage sighed and handed it back to his disciple. The death of Yuan Jai was something no one could have predicted. After all, even the 1,000 Autumn Saint could only suppress, not defeat, the 2 7th-tier Kang Jin dragons, Kang Jin and Kang Yu, who joined forces. After the incident, the Sage of 1,000 Autumns immediately led all the heavenly army to advance on burning heaven, while at the same time apologizing to the heavenly emperor. After receiving the jade slip, the Holy Lord of Light opened it and read its contents, finding only one word: kill. Knowing his father's personality well, the Holy Emperor of Light knew that this was the heavenly emperor's wrath. When the Eastern Imperial Court was destroyed, the heavenly emperor authorized the Supreme Heavenly King to execute all the immortals involved with conclusive evidence. Now that Yuan Jai has died on the battlefield, the heavenly emperor also feels heartbroken. Although Yuan Jai had offended Chen Mobai, causing the heavenly emperor to lose face in front of the true king of Taixu, Chen Mobai was still his son. The army will be mobilized to slaughter all living beings in burning heaven who have been tainted by the demonic path. However, even at this time, the Sage of 1,000 Autumns was still very understanding, knowing that there might be innocent people in the land of exile, so he did not order a massacre, but instead limited the target to the demonic path. Yes, Master. Upon hearing this, the Holy Lord of Light immediately used his great Tao to transmit the order to every member of the army. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Amidst the golden light, 1,000,000 heavenly soldiers and generals, like brilliant stars, formed a 7th-order battle formation and crashed down upon the dark clouds of burning heaven, dispelling the gloom and cleansing the demonic energy. The rebels, who had been hiding in the dark clouds and demonic energy, intending to use the terrain to their advantage to strike a blow against the heavenly army, were suddenly stripped of their cover and exposed to the heavenly soldiers and generals. In the clash between the celestial light and the demonic energy, the latter suffered a series of defeats. One by one, cultivators who practiced demonic arts screamed as they fell from the dark clouds, exploding into clumps of blood and staining the already barren and desolate earth red. The darkness that had shrouded the burning heaven since ancient times was gradually dissipated by the heavenly soldiers and generals, revealing the emaciated, hatred-filled creatures on this land. Upon seeing this, the Sage of 1,000 Autumns couldn't help but sigh once again. However, deep within the pupils of these creatures lay a dark red and black aura, clearly indicating that they had cultivated demonic arts and could only be exterminated. Roar! As the celestial soldiers and generals broke through the demonic energy of burning heaven and descended to the earth, the native creatures of burning heaven roared and swelled up, unleashing demonic arts and transforming into one after another demonic beast or true spirit, charging towards the heavenly army regardless of their own lives. However, facing a 7th-order war formation, these were like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. They were reduced to ashes by the immortal light as soon as they got close. A blazing white sun appeared in the sky above the scorching heavens. This was the Holy Lord of Light unleashing his great Tao, aiming to dispel the darkness that had shrouded the burning heaven for countless years, and to purify this place of exile in one fell swoop. Chanta. But at that moment, 2 sharp beams of light flew out from the deepest demonic energy of burning heaven, crisscrossing like a giant pair of scissors, and landed on the heads of the foremost heavenly soldiers and generals with a dragon's roar that shook the heavens. With a snapping sound, the 7th-order war formation that was guarding it was easily cut open like yellow paper, by the golden scissors. Without the war formation, the heavenly soldiers and generals were no longer invincible. The very front, along with the formation, was cut in two by golden scissors, and blood splattered across the land that had burned away the heavens. Rumble! Upon witnessing this scene, the Sage of 1,000 Autumns immediately drew a purple jade ruler from his chest, which fell from the sky like a thunderbolt. The golden scissors, not to be outdone, spared the heavenly soldiers and generals who were already at their mercy, and transformed into two golden dragons that soared into the sky to collide with the thunder jade ruler. The moment the two magical artifacts came into contact, the nearby void avenue shattered with spiderweb-like cracks centered on them, spreading indefinitely. Why is it you? Upon seeing the golden scissors revealing their true form beneath his own treasure of enlightenment, the Sage of 1,000 Autumns was greatly surprised. Those two golden dragons were none other than the original dragon Lord Kang Jin and immortal Lord Kang Yu. Waya? The moment they saw the Sage of 1,000 Autumns, the two golden dragons also cried out, clearly still possessing their own consciousness, but unable to control their bodies and the great Tao, allowing the demon lord in the deepest part of the burning heaven to manipulate them. King of Purity, please be careful. That demon lord's realm is unfathomable. He is truly. Kang Jinqianjun, whose cultivation was even deeper, managed to break free for a moment under these circumstances and spoke up to remind Kainkyu Sage. Shut up. But at this moment, a cold snort rang out, and a terrifying demonic aura that even made the 1,000 Autumn Saint shudder surge forth from the depths of the burning heaven. A humanoid being shrouded in black mist landed in front of the golden scissors, stretched out a hand, and slapped Kang Jin Tianjin hard across the face. The resounding slap enraged all the celestial beings, including the Sage of 1,000 Autumns. Even though Kang Jin Tianjin is usually arrogant and not very popular, he is at least on the side of the heavenly court. This slap wasn't just on its face, but also on the body of the 1,000 Autumn Sage and everyone else. Demon Lord, today I will seal you away, so that you may never be reborn. The Sage of 1,000 Autumns roared angrily. Never before had such a strong killing intent surged within him. The moment he saw the figure in the black mist, he only wanted to tear him to pieces. Tusk, 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 all you think about is sealing me away. I'm different, I only want you to die. The humanoid voice within the black mist was exceptionally strange, sometimes male, sometimes female, the first half of the sentence clear and bright, the second half becoming hoarse, as if it were a creature pieced together from various different people. Please hold on a little longer, my fellow Taoists. Once I have sealed the demon lord with the great Tao of sacred virtue, I will purify the restrictions on you and grant you your freedom. The Sage of 1,000 Autumns spoke to the two golden dragons that had fallen back into the demon lord's hands, and then waved the purple jade ruler. In an instant, a giant purple ruler 10,000 meters long appeared in the sky above burning heaven, sweeping away all the demonic energy and landing on the demon lord's head. But when faced with the treasure that had enabled the sages of 1,000 Autumns to attain enlightenment, the demon lord merely waved his hand. The two golden dragons forming a golden scissor, like an intersecting golden cross rising up, or like chains, firmly blocked the sweeping, 10,000-meter-long giant ruler in front of its head. Then with a snap, the scissors closed, and the purple jade ruler was cut in two. End of this chapter. Chapter 1448, Defeat of 1,000 Autumns. Stone Lotus appears. Chapter 1448, Defeat of 1,000 Autumns. Stone Lotus appears. The heavenly emperor's true form stood amidst the chaos, his expression solemn as he looked at the Xuan Yuan heaven shrouded in five-colored light. Beside him stood a silver-haired youth, the very spirit of the Taixu measuring ruler. He clenched his fists, sensing his surroundings, and after a long while sighed, "It is the power of the heavenly river Tao fruit that has sealed off the Xuan Yuan heaven, and I have no way to enter it." It seems that the merfolk ancestor and the heavenly venerable made their move. The latter forced the former to use the heavenly river Tao fruit to unleash the power of creation of the entire Xuan Yuan heaven to suppress them. The heavenly emperor, who controls destiny, deduced the truth based on a few clues. The good news is that the true immortal Tao Lord of the Jellyfish Palace lineage is still alive in the Xuan Yuan heaven. The Taixu measuring ruler also sensed something using the great Tao of Void. And the bad news, the heavenly emperor asked. If the merfolk ancestor cannot defeat the heavenly venerable, the activated heavenly river Tao fruit and the great power of creation of the profound origin heaven will be unable to be released. They will be sealed in the profound origin heaven forever, which is almost the same as being dead. These words from the Taixu measuring ruler caused the heavenly emperor to frown deeply. Of the three realms, only the heavenly emperor and the true king of the void are pure yang. It was precisely because of this that the heavenly emperor understood just how powerful the heavenly river Tao fruit left behind by the jellyfish was. The mermaid ancestor was unable to unleash even a tenth of its power. However, since the heavenly river Tao fruit has already been refined by the mermaid ancestor, if the mermaid ancestor were to fight to the death, he might risk losing his freedom and seal everyone in the profound origin heaven. In fact, the current situation is precisely because of this. Even if senior brother Taixu makes a move, he still won't be able to enter Xuan Yuan heaven. The heavenly emperor thought about it and realized that with the strength of the true king of the void, he might be able to do things that he himself could not. This is the power of creation. The spirit of the Taixu measuring ruler responded to the heavenly emperor with these words. Good fortune. Upon hearing this, the heavenly emperor sighed inwardly. Although many immortals know that creation is the ultimate goal of cultivation, only beings like Chen Yang, who are only one step away from creation, truly understand how terrifying this realm is. Forging the 3,000 great Taos is merely the threshold. The difficulty is almost 1,000 times greater than that of the pure Yang Tao. At least the heavenly emperor was helpless when faced with the immense power of creation. I hope that everyone in Xuan Yuan heaven will return safely. In the end, the heavenly emperor could only offer this blessing with this hope. After the message was relayed to the clone of Ziwei Palace, Chen Mobai immediately learned of it as well. Because all news from the heavenly court needs to be archived and stored in the void department, Kangming informed Chen Mobai immediately after learning about it. In addition, after the Taixu measuring ruler returned to Taixu heaven, it also relayed the matter to Chen Mobai through Kangkang Tongzi. So, it's possible that the celestial venerable might never be able to leave the Xuan Yuan heaven in his entire life. Upon hearing this, Chen Mobai's expression became quite interesting. This was naturally good news for him. But recently, my luck under the blessing of the holy virtue has been somewhat exaggerated. Many of his opponents suffered various disasters. Even the heavenly venerable, who was in harmony with the Tao and had attained innate life and death, could not resist it. This really made Chen Mobai feel that something was wrong. After all, he was only at the void refining stage. The fact that it could affect ordinary seventh-order true immortals could be attributed to the innate treasure of Zixel Palace, but the heavenly venerable has the life and death compass. Even if the natural treasure of the three realms is slightly weaker, it is still an innate treasure. There must be something fishy going on here that Chen Mobai is unaware of. Just then, Kangming suddenly received another message from the highest level of the void department. After reading it, his expression changed drastically. Without even saying hello, he teleported to the Ziwei Palace. Soon, Chen Mobai discovered that the entire Mi Luo Tian had begun to move. One by one, the reclusive immortals and Tao lords, riding their own Tao Dharma forms, entered the Mi Luo Palace. Among them were the Supreme Heavenly King and the Wu Immortal Lord, whom Chen Mobai knew. Besides these seventh-order beings in the Mi Luo heaven, the other Tao lords guarding the 33 heavens also descended into the Mi Luo Palace at the fastest speed. Knowing that something serious must have happened, and with Kangming still not returning from the Ziwei Palace, Chen Mobai simply went directly to the Su department. Greetings, junior uncle. Jia Yuhen, who was guarding the Su tribe, knew that Chen Mobai had arrived and immediately came out to greet him. Since the celestial venerable merged with the Tao, the Linkang immortal realm has been somewhat turbulent, so Kangming did not allow Jia Yuhen to guard Moi heaven anymore. But what happened? Chen Mobai pointed to another true immortal Dharma image that had descended from beyond the heavens to the Mi Luo heaven and asked, "This way, junior uncle." Jia Yuhen led Chen Mobai to a quiet room in the void division. The walls were covered with stacks of jade slips, and Jia Yuhen reached out and took one out. Something big has happened at Burning Heaven. Junior uncle, you should keep this information to yourself after you read it. Do not spread it out. After speaking, Jia Yuhen used a secret technique to unseal the jade slip and handed it to Chen Mobai with both hands. Chen Mobai took a look, and his pupils dilated in shock. The jade slip contained intelligence from half a day prior, regarding the 8-day rebellion in the West. The Sage of 1,000 Autumns led the Heavenly Court army into burning heaven, acting on the orders of the Heavenly Emperor, intending to wipe out the land of exile there, avenge Yuan Jai, and at the same time rescue the two seventh-order dragons, Kang Jin and Kang Yu. Little did they know that just as the army stormed into burning heaven, they encountered that incredibly mysterious demon lord who had merged with the primordial Tao. The demon lord was not only highly skilled, but had also refined Kang Jin and Kang Yu into a supreme magic weapon. With its explosive sharpness, it was even more powerful than the seventh-order Kang Jin dragon itself. It not only easily broke through the Heavenly Court army, but also cut off the Tao-building treasure of the 1,000 Autumn Saint in a direct confrontation. Fortunately, the Sage of 1,000 Autumns possessed profound virtue and fortune. He had a section of the broken tower left by the compassionate ancestor, which he used to block the dragon's scissors. He fought and retreated with the demon lord, protecting his subordinates and disciples as they escaped from the burning heaven. However, because it was a defeat, part of the heavenly army was captured in burning heaven. When this news reached back, it naturally caused a stir in the immortal realm. After all, the Sage of 1,000 Autumns, who wields saintly virtue and fights against demonic cultivators, is the strongest among the 4 heavenly kings. Even he can't stop the demon lord now, so does that mean the heavenly emperor has to personally lead the expedition? No wonder so many true immortals and Tao lords from the 33 heavens have been summoned here. Chen Mobai suddenly realized, is the Sage of 1,000 Autumns all right? When Chen Mobai returned the jade slip, he asked a question. Jia Yuhan shook her head, indicating that the 1,000 Autumn Saint was fine, but after being defeated by the demon lord, the rebellion in the western 8 heavens, which had been suppressed, reignited. It even began to spread to the other 3 realms. In the spirit void immortal realm, there are some 7th-order demonic powerhouses hidden. In the past, under the power of the heavenly court, they could only hide. Now that the demon lord has stepped forward, they are gathering in various places, stirring up rebellion and raising slogans in response to the demon lord, wanting to change the world. Jia Yuhan then took out several jade slips, all containing the latest intelligence obtained by the Void Department. Chen Mobai saw familiar names such as Black Fly Demon God, Blood Transformation Heavenly Demon, and Ancient Demon on it. It seems this news can't be kept secret for much longer. Clearly, while the Heavenly Court wanted to suppress the news, the demonic path was eager for the whole world to know. Now that rebellions were breaking out in various realms of the immortal realm, it was obvious that even the top experts of the demonic path already knew about the 1,000 Autumn Sages' defeat by the demon lord. For demonic cultivators, the might of the 1,000 Autumn Sage was even greater than that of the Heavenly Emperor. His defeat dispelled the ancient fear of the Heavenly Court held by the demonic path. Therefore, the Heavenly Court must completely suppress the demon lord as quickly as possible. Jia Yuhan spoke up. Chen Mobai nodded, looked at the 2 Tao lords who had descended again, and his initial shock gradually subsided. After all, in terms of strength, the Heavenly Court definitely has the advantage. If the Heavenly Emperor were to intervene, the demon lord would certainly be no match for him. Even the Heavenly Emperor couldn't defeat it. Isn't there still the true King of the Void? Is the Sage of 1,000 Autumns a successor of the Compassionate Brother? Chen Mobai recalled the Xuanwang pagoda he had given to the Spirit Venerable, and thought that the one in the hands of the 1,000 Autumn Sage should be the other section, so he asked curiously. The Sage of 1,000 Autumns was self-taught, and he had a broad understanding of the lineage of the 7 Sages of creation. As Jia Yuhan spoke, she took out a jade slip containing the biography of the sage Kainkyu. After reading it, Chen Mobai was filled with admiration. He truly came from a poor family and studied diligently, becoming the only one born into a spiritual realm to ascend to the status of a primordial Tao Lord, a truly inspiring story. That section of the Xuanwang Pagoda was left behind by the previous pure heavenly king after his failure to advance to the innate great Tao. It was bestowed upon him by the heavenly emperor after the 1,000 Autumn Sage succeeded to this title. Next, Chen Mobai looked at the information about the compassionate senior brother's lineage. He only reluctantly left the void chamber after Kangming returned. This chamber contained all the information of the spirit void immortal realm since its creation. Almost any question could be answered here. Junior uncle, the matter is urgent, and I only have time to report to you now. Upon seeing Chen Mobai, Kangming apologized first. What does the Heavenly Emperor intend to do? Chen Mobai asked this directly. The Eastern Supreme Heavenly King and the Northern Frost Halberd Heavenly King have received orders to lead the armies of the 8 heavens of the East and the 8 heavens of the North to the 8 heavens of the West to support the pure Heavenly King. Each of the 8 departments will also send a true immortal to lead their disciples to follow. Almost half of the Heavenly Court's experts from the 33 heavens have been mobilized to suppress this demon lord's rebellion. Kangming informed Chen Mobai of the results that had just been discussed in the Ziwei Palace. This time, the Heavenly Court mobilized almost all of its resources. Besides the main battlefield at Burning Heaven, the 8 divisions also need to suppress or even kill the ancient demons causing trouble in other places. Even if the ancient demons are resurrected later, at least for the time being, the Heavenly Emperor does not want to see them again. Chen Mobai nodded, feeling that the great rebellion caused by the Burning Heaven Demon Lord would soon be easily suppressed by the combined efforts of the 3 Heavenly Kings of the Heavenly Court. But things took a turn for the better than Chen Mobai had anticipated. After the Supreme Heavenly King led the Heavenly Army of the 8 heavens of the East to the West, the Heavenly Army of the Northern Heavenly King, led by the Cold Halberd Heavenly King, remained stationary for a long time. The Heavenly Emperor issued a series of edicts, and for every edict the Cold Halberd Heavenly King received, his army would move 1 step westward, moving very slowly. The reason given was that his soldiers were disobedient. The Northern 8 heavens used to be the Empress's territory. The Star Palace was deeply rooted there. Although the Cold Halberd Heavenly King was also an incarnation of the ancestral dragon's great Tao, he was rather lazy and didn't like to move around. So, even after all these years, he still hasn't been able to completely control it. Kangming presented the latest intelligence to Chen Mobai, who felt that Hanji Tianwang, this innate Tao Lord, was rather useless. If he were in office, he wouldn't need a century to turn the 8 northern regions into his own impregnable territory. Chen Mobai, do the immortals of the 8 heavens in the north have no reverence for the Heavenly Emperor's commands? Kangming, the 8 heavens in the north were created by the one-star Tao ancestor and the Water Mother. After the Heavenly Court was established, it became the Empress's base. Everyone, from top to bottom, only recognized the Star God Temple and the Empress, not the Heavenly Emperor. Wouldn't this give the Heavenly Emperor even more excuse to settle scores? However, after Wanling was captured, the Star Palace may have already made preparations. This opportunity is once in a lifetime, and they will probably use it as a trump card to have a good talk with the Heavenly Emperor. Yesterday, Tiangshuan Daijun of the Star God Temple applied to be teleported to Miluo Heaven, probably intending to discuss this matter, but the Heavenly Emperor suppressed it and did not agree to her coming. Kangming then mentioned something else. The 7th-ranked true immortals of the Heavenly Court generally have the title of Tao Lord, but they are also bound by the heavenly rules. For example, they cannot come to the Miluo Heaven at will. Will the Heavenly Emperor compromise? Chen Mobai asked. If we compromise, Wanling might be released, which wouldn't be good for him. Kangming, the Heavenly Emperor and the Heavenly Empress have long since broken off relations, and it's impossible to mend a broken relationship. Moreover, even without the army of the 8 heavens of the north, the 3 heavenly kings alone could suppress the demon lord. Hearing this, Chen Mobai felt relieved. Given the Heavenly Emperor's status and realm, even if the Heavenly Court were to disappear, he would probably not be willing to bow his head and admit that he made a mistake. Moreover, the more the Star Temple manipulates the armies of the 8 heavens in the north, the more determined the Heavenly Emperor will be to kill them. Next, Chen Mobai asked about the background of Hanji Tianwang. Knowing that it is the first white dragon in the 3 realms, possessing the primordial frozen Tao, which is also a type of Tao of termination, it is extremely powerful. Kangming, junior uncle, this time I plan to go to the front line in person to see just who that demon lord really is. Kangming's judgment was similar to Chen Mobai's. He was a disciple of Taixu Zhenwang and believed that the demon lord could not possibly shake the rule of the Heavenly Court. Therefore, it is believed that this suppression of the rebellion will be a great achievement. However, given Kangming's status, he wasn't actually interested in sharing the spoils. He was simply curious. After all, since the creation of the Linkang immortal realm, there has never been a rebellion of this scale. All the true immortals and Tao lords in the Heavenly Court are now very curious about the demon lord of Burning Heaven, wanting to know how he advanced to the innate realm without making a sound. With the true king of Taixu away and the Taixu measuring ruler no longer in charge, Chen Mobai is currently the most senior member of the Taixu heaven lineage. Therefore, Kongming reports all matters to him and lets him make decisions. At this moment, Chen Mobai saw a glimpse of the future. It is a grayish-white stone lotus. He was immediately startled, thinking of the world-destroying millstone that had disappeared from his purple mansion sea of consciousness. Kongming, come with me to Taixu heaven first. Leave this matter to someone else. After realizing that the demon lord might be the final sage of the spirit void immortal realm, Chen Mobai quickly said. End of this chapter. Chapter 1449, Practicing the Void and Connecting with Stars. Chapter 1449, Practicing the Void and Connecting with Stars. Although Kongming didn't know why Chen Mobai was in such a hurry to go to Taixu heaven, he obediently handed over the task of supporting the front line of burning heaven to Jia Yuhan. When the two arrived at Taixu heaven, Kong Tongzi was already waiting at the entrance. Young master and senior brother Kongming have arrived. After leading Chen Mobai and the other into the gate of Taixu heaven, Kong Tongzi called out to the spirit of the Taixu measuring ruler. Senior brother, something terrible has happened. The demon lord who defeated the 1,000 Autumn Saint is most likely the incarnation of the end of the spirit void immortal realm. Chen Mobai had previously told Taixu Zhenwang about the disappearance of the world-destroying millstone in his purple mansion sea of consciousness. At that time, the latter did not pay attention, believing that even if the demon lord came to the three realms, he could not turn the world upside down. But now, the mysterious demon lord has appeared, stirring up an unprecedented rebellion in the spirit realm. Chen Mobai would occasionally glimpse a corner of the future using the power of the tortoise treasure, and felt that the matter of the demon lord could not be taken lightly. Meanwhile, Kongming, upon hearing that the demon lord had merged with the innate great Tao, possibly indicating the end of his reign, was also startled. The appearance of this great road signifies that the three realms are about to enter their final tribulation. When the heavenly emperor holds the reins of destiny, he looks to the past and glimpses the future. And the end of the future is the final calamity of the gods, when all spirits vanish and all paths are annihilated. But the three realms have only just entered their golden age, full of vitality, so why are they about to decline after reaching their peak? I will inform the master immediately. Upon hearing Chen Mobai's words, the spirit of the Taixu measuring ruler also became solemn and indicated that it would immediately summon the Taixu true king. It closed its eyes, its spirit wandering beyond the heavens, and a silver lightning bolt appeared between its brows, piercing through the boundless chaos. At this moment, the tortoise treasure within Chen Mobai's body trembled slightly. The method by which the Taixu measuring ruler connected with the Taixu true king triggered another innate great Tao, which was then revealed. However, it was only a moment before Chen Mobai had a chance to savor this great path. Taixu measuring ruler opened its eyes and frowned. Junior brother, not long ago, the calamity of annihilation suddenly erupted and spread outward from the original Xuan palace. The master is leading the powerful beings of the central Tao field to suppress it with all his might, and is unable to escape to the three realms. Upon hearing this, Chen Mobai's expression changed drastically. The immortal gate is located on the edge of the mysterious palace. If this cataclysmic calamity were to erupt, and its direction were to be aimed directly at the Tianyang star system, the Zhou Tianhe Luo star array, with the Earth origin star at its core, would likely be unable to withstand it and would be reduced to ashes in an instant. Thinking of this, Chen Mobai could no longer sit still and took his leave. As for the Linkang immortal realm, they can only place their hopes on the heavenly emperor. Kongming and Chen Mobai left together. The former was also eager to inform the heavenly emperor and the heavenly kings, including the 1,000 Autumn Saint, that the demon lord might be merging with the great Tao of the end of fortune. After the two returned to Mi Luo Tian, Chen Mobai made an excuse that he needed to go to the netherworld to refine a Tao treasure to improve his strength. After listening, Kongming nodded. Junior uncle, junior sister went to the front line in my place. I will be stationed in Mi Luo Tian from now on. If you need anything, you can come to me immediately. Seeing that Kongming had gone to the Ziwei Palace, Chen Mobai did not waste any more time and immediately activated the turtle treasure to return to the Earth origin star. Upon returning, Chen Mobai saw that in the universe, countless brilliant stars lit up, as if the Milky Way had fallen from the sky, weaving into a star net that covered the entire Tianyang system above the Earth star. Within this galaxy of stars, all spiritual energy, sunlight and starlight are controlled, flowing like a spider web towards the central hub, the Earth star. Chen Mobai could sense that the concentration of spiritual veins on Earth origin star was already very close to the 7th level at this time. This greatly surprised him, as he thought the immortal sect had encountered an irresistible force and activated the newly formed Zhou Tian He Luo star array. However, when he left, the immortal sect had only completed the development of a few extraterrestrial stars, which was far from enough to cover the entire universe. Chen Mobai immediately activated the heavenly blessing and earthly spirit, and with the blessing of the turtle treasure, he instantly discovered the truth about the billions of stars with the immortal gate as the hub. It turns out that most of the stars are just illusions. But the illusion contained real power. Chen Mobai looked over and quickly saw that it was a sword, the Tianhai star sword that he had personally forged. Besides the heavenly sea star sword, the most crucial element is the power of the great Tao, which imbues the sword with the full power of the celestial gates, heavenly curtain, and earthly network array, creating a virtual representation of the Zhou Tian He Luo star array. The great Tao of illusion. Have you mastered the star pulsating void technique? Chen Mobai suddenly realized something and looked up at the only place in his void sky orbit that he couldn't completely penetrate. The place was shrouded in a mysterious golden light. After Chen Mobai teleported in, the spirit venerable's figure immediately stepped out from the Xuanhuang immortal light. What a coincidence! It just so happens that I was here protecting him during the qi refining cultivation. As expected, this is indeed a great thing. Upon hearing what the Spirit Lord said, Chen Mobai nodded slightly, and then asked the Spirit Lord if anything noteworthy had happened on Earth Origin Star during the years he had been away. That's true. A few years ago, Taoist Xuan who led his disciples back from the central Tao field, and then transferred all his own cultivators from the outer star fields back to Xuanhu 4 stars. It's as if he wanted to give up the redundancy and focus on managing the core of the Tao field. The Spirit Venerable spoke, explaining that she knew this because the Tianyang system belonged to the Xuanyang system. The Xuanyang system was Song Qingyi's territory, and when she led her disciples back to Xuanhu 4 stars, she specifically came here to inform them of this matter. Song Qingyi didn't specify the reason, but based on past experiences, the Spirit Venerable guessed that a calamity might be approaching. Some void refinement cultivators needed to be killed to fill the void in the purple heaven universe. Under these circumstances, these wild void refining cultivators without a 7th-tier background are the best targets to face the tribulation. That is why the Spirit Lord had previously advised Kaingsing not to rush things, and to wait until this calamity was over before making a breakthrough. However, Kaingsing's lifespan was nearing its end, and he was not the type to fear tribulations. Moreover, he had cultivated the Book of Destiny of the Divine Mechanism Palace and knew that this was his last chance. Therefore, after realizing that the time was right, he resolutely stepped into the illusory path. With such a Taoist heart, one can achieve the Tao of star-gazing. Upon hearing this, Chen Mobai looked pleased. Now it seems that this era is indeed the golden age of the immortal sects. Not only has it produced a true immortal like you, but Bai Guang, Kai and Xing, and I have also successfully cultivated to the void realm. The Spirit Lord believed in Chen Mobai's judgment. He said that if the star-pulling technique could be successful, then it would definitely succeed. He was filled with emotion. Upon hearing her mentioned by Guang, Chen Mobai immediately looked distressed. The place where the white light finally disappeared was the Xuan Palace. End of this chapter. Chapter 1450, Returning to the White Crane Dojo. Chapter 1450, Returning to the White Crane Dojo. This great calamity is not only about filling the void, but also about the annihilation calamity deep within the Xuan Palace. Facing the Spirit Lord, Chen Mobai had nothing to hide and told him everything about the annihilation tribulation, except for Qing Nu's true identity. It's actually a calamity of destiny. Upon hearing this, the Spirit Lord was also greatly surprised. After receiving the inheritance of the Xuanhuang Pagoda, she could be considered a successor of the compassionate Tao ancestor, knowing that the realm of creation is the ultimate goal of Xuanmen cultivation. Currently, the highest realm in the entire Zixel universe is only the 8th order pure yang. If the cataclysmic calamity were to erupt, wouldn't we be entering the final calamity prematurely? What should we do? The Spirit Lord looked anxious, clearly aware of the immortal sect's awkward position. Once senior brother Kaixing has reached the Void Realm, let's launch the wandering earthly star plan. When Chen Mobai arrived, he had already thought about this issue and shared his opinion. The so-called wandering earthly star is a planetary propulsion system that uses the spiritual pivot of the heavenly curtain earthly network array as a planetary propulsion device to take the entire planet and all the immortal beings living on it away from the Tianyang system. This was also the last trump card of the immortal sect, originally intended for use as a means of escape when they were unable to win a war. That's the only way, but where do we go? The Spirit Lord nodded sadly. Leaving his homeland was hard to accept no matter what, but for the sake of the people of Earth Star, he had no other choice. Let's go to the White Crane Dojo. Chen Mobai thought for a moment, and then told him where the 5 patriarchs of the immortal sect came from. Although he had a good relationship with the Xuanhu Dojo and owned businesses there, the calamity of annihilation was a calamity of destiny, which even the true king of the void could only delay, not resolve. Since we've already decided to leave, we should naturally choose a place that's far from the Xuan Palace. Even if the Zixel universe is ultimately engulfed by the annihilation calamity, at least Chen Mobai hopes that the immortal beings will be the last to disappear. Good. The Spirit Lord naturally had no objection to this. Even now, the White Crane Dojo may still be a ruin. Just then, countless stars gathered and intertwined to form a huge vortex in front of the two. Kaixing's primordial spirit held the Tianhai star sword and sat in the center of the vortex, like a god who controlled the starry sky. This looks like the great path of stars, but it is actually just a manifestation of the Zhou Tianhe Luo star array of the immortal sect. Although the grand formation was not yet fully set up, when Kaixing stepped into the illusory path, it gathered all the energy that could be absorbed together. At the moment when Kaixing successfully cultivated the illusory path, it was fed back by the illusory path and transformed into this seemingly real but actually half-real 7th-order grand formation. Even ordinary cultivators at the void refinement stage cannot see through it. Only Chen Mobai, with the help of the tortoise treasure, was able to discover the clues. Even the spirit venerable hesitated, not understanding why the star-pulsating refinement technique could allow the immortal sect to complete the 7th-order Zhou Tianhe Luo star array ahead of schedule. As starlight shone down, Kaixing had already put away the great formation and stepped in front of Chen Mobai and Lingzhen. Thank you for protecting me, Venerable Ling and my junior brother. At this moment, Chen Mobai sensed that his progress in attaining sainthood had suddenly increased slightly. Clearly, the success of the star-pulsating refinement was attributed by the holy virtue Tao to Chen Mobai's teachings. It's about 1%. This means that as long as Chen Mobai trains 100 disciples like Kaixing, the great Tao of saintly virtue will be perfected, and he can attempt to merge with the Tao. The task is somewhat difficult, but for Chen Mobai, who owns the Zixel Palace, as long as he is willing to do it, he will succeed one day. Moreover, it's not just about training in the void realm. Teaching cultivators to become nascent soul or spiritual core cultivators can also be considered education. Chen Mobai also discovered that the teachings he had accumulated in the eastern continent of the Heavenly River realm could be converted back to the Purple Cloud universe, albeit at a significantly reduced rate. Previously, his cultivation level was not high, but now that he has refined the turtle treasure, he has clearly sensed this point. Gui Bao also deduced that as long as Chen Mobai could teach a disciple who had reached the Tao, the progress bar could be increased by more than 50%. By mastering 50% of the great Tao of saintly virtue, one can take the step of attaining the Tao at any time. However, Chen Mobai himself was only at the void refinement stage, and among his disciples, only Zhuo Ming had the potential to reach the Tao integration stage, so he didn't even consider that possibility. At this moment, the Spirit Lord had already told Kaixing about his plan to launch the Wandering Earth Star project. It seems that heaven arranged for me to practice the void at this time, so that I could bring the souls and ashes of the 5 ancestors of the immortal sect back to the White Crane Dojo. After practicing the star-pulsating void technique, his comprehension of the Book of Destiny in the Divine Mechanism Palace was unprecedented, and he saw some tributaries of fate. I'll leave this to you. Also, don't forget to bring Chengxuan and the others from the Xuanhu Dojo along with them. After speaking to Kaixing, Chen Mobai added a reminder. I'll go and inform them, Let's meet up in the starry sky then. The spirit lord nodded, indicating that she would do this task. Over the years, she has been the one communicating and exchanging ideas with the Xuanhu dojo, purchasing supplies and cultivation techniques for the immortal sects. After the division of labor was clear, the spirit lord did not delay at all. He put away the Xuanwang pagoda and transformed into a golden light, traversing the starry sky before departing. Chen Mobai, on the other hand, returned to the immortal sect with Kaixing. The cultivators of the heaven-mending lineage, including Kingping Yuangsu, were all waiting at Five Peaks Immortal Mountain. Clearly, they had been notified before the star-pulsating void refinement. Congratulations, Master, on reaching the void realm. Yuangsu was overjoyed to see Kaixing return successfully. Let's talk about the celebration later. Summon Yunhai and the other nascent soul cultivators. Chunyang and I have something to discuss. Kaixing, however, had a solemn expression and showed no joy at breaking through his cultivation level. He gave instructions to the cultivators of the heaven-mending lineage in front of him. Upon hearing this, Kingping and the others were startled, but they acted swiftly, notifying the other nascent soul cultivators of the immortal sect. Soon, streaks of silver light flashed, and all the nascent soul cultivators had teleported over using the void teleportation technique. A great calamity is erupting over the Xuan Palace, and the Tianyang system, where the Earth origin star is located, may be affected. This is a terrifying calamity that even pure Yang cannot stop. For the sake of the billions of immortal beings, we need to initiate the wandering Earth origin star plan. Once everyone had arrived, Chen Mobai began by briefly explaining the situation. Although the assembled deities were shocked, they unconditionally trusted his words and obeyed without hesitation. Don't inform the general public about this. Just inform the nascent soul cultivators and the core formation cultivators. Senior brother Kaixing will be in charge of this. After saying this, Chen Mobai sighed, looked in the direction of the Xuan Palace and thought about the white light. The nascent soul cultivators present thought he was worried about the future of the immortal sects and were all deeply impressed. End of this chapter. Chapter 1451, The Demon Lord's Secret Realm. Chapter 1451, The Demon Lord's Secret Realm. Just as the three main halls of the immortal sect were making preparations to wander the earthly star, Chen Mobai's morning bell incarnation in the Xuan Palace barely managed to avoid a black hole. The place they indicated was nearby, but I still can't find it. The morning bell, transformed into a figure standing in the starry sky, surveys the surrounding world with its celestial orbit, murmuring to itself. Above his palm hung the star-piercing sword, within which the incarnation of the Grim Reaper was sealed. After leaving the immortal sect, he used the method of sensing with his sword sense to travel all the way here, hoping to find traces of the white light. But after searching the entire starry sky, they were unable to find the death vortex and the forgetful sword. Could it be? Chen Mobai turned his head and looked at the black hole not far away, which had devoured all energy and light, and even disappeared when the Great Tao approached. Having been baptized by the 3,000 Great Taos before Zixil Palace, Chen Mobai, though only an avatar here, still vaguely sensed that this black hole was the embodiment of the Tao of annihilation in the universe. This is the most terrifying death zone in the universe. Anyone below the 7th rank who enters will be dissolved, and even those at the 7th rank may not be able to return. Of all the stars in this area, Chen Mobai had only left the area around this black hole unexplored. If the location perceived by the sword intent is correct, then the vortex of the final life-or-death battle between the Grim Reaper and the White Light must be located here, which means it must be inside the black hole. At that moment, Chen Mobai's expression suddenly changed, and a thought came from the distant Earth star along the endless void. He knew that the real body had sent an important message. My cultivation has actually reached this level. The incarnation of Morning Bell was somewhat surprised, because during his years in the Xuan Palace, he had tried to contact the immortal sect, but due to the special circumstances of the Xuan Palace, which was filled with black holes and often flowed with the annihilation calamity, even the power of the innate Great Tao would often be annihilated. This time, Chen Mobai, who was far away in the immortal sect, accurately used the Great Tao of Void to transmit the message he wanted the Morning Bell incarnate to know to this place. The Morning Bell in its incarnation pointed a finger, and a point of silver light appeared from nothing, shining brightly in the starry sky, like a brilliant star rising from its fingertip. The brilliant star quickly merged into the avatar's palm, transforming into a mark. I see. After receiving all the information contained within the starry sky, the morning bell finally understood the reason. After obtaining the complete set of the Takesu Heavenly Book, Chen Mobai began to truly unleash the power of the turtle treasure. Now, he is using the turtle treasure to manipulate the void and send over the Takesu measuring ruler imprint of the same origin along with the information. The information is naturally the truth behind the destruction of the Xuan Palace. We need to retrieve the white light before the cataclysmic destruction fully erupts and engulfs the entire Xuan Palace. After interpreting the information, Chen Zhang's expression turned solemn. He looked up at the black hole that was flowing along an inexplicable trajectory in this starry sky, and his gaze became intense. For Chen Mobai, this was merely an avatar, and even if it was lost, it would not affect his true cultivation level. It would mean losing the morning bell, your natal treasure, as well as the power of the yin-yang Dao. Compared to Bai Guang, Chen Mobai was willing to give up all of that to find her. Even so, the chances of success are not high. But at least after trying, Chen Mobai can have a clear conscience. After all, she's the mother of my child. After learning that the cataclysmic calamity was spreading, Chen Mobai no longer hesitated and decided to fly into the black hole. With a thought, the power of yin and yang Dao rose up, transforming into a semi-transparent bell that enveloped his entire body. If I had known that the root of the annihilation calamity was the great Tao of annihilation, I would have refined the Hayashin mirror into an avatar and sent it over. Chen Mobai circulated yin and yang, looking at the annihilating Tao intent emanating from the black hole, and couldn't help but feel regret. The Hayashin mirror embodies the path to nirvana. In the pure yang scroll taught by the purple cloud Taoist, nirvana and nirvana are another pure yang path. Because of the large number of black holes in this Xuan Palace, the annihilation power of some black holes is not strong enough to reach the 7th level. If one has the nirvana Tao protecting them, which has mutual restraint, one might actually be able to enter them unharmed. Just as Chen Mobai was about to fly towards the black hole with the morning bell above his head, a strange fluctuation of the void Tao rippled from afar. Huh? Chen Mobai immediately stopped and looked in the direction of the void fluctuations. Soon, a young man with a tall hat and wide belt, and a cold expression, appeared stepping through the starry sky. The Demon Lord's secret realm is not something you can covet. If you know what's good for you, get lost. Upon seeing Chen Mobai, the aloof youth assumed he was a greedy cultivator who had obtained the treasure map and snorted coldly, trying to drive him away. It's you. Chen Mobai looked surprised when he saw the boy. He actually knew this person. When he first started doing business on the Demon Market platform, his first order was to distribute the coordinates of the demon-tainted planet occupied by the Three-Eyed Clan for free, which attracted many void refinement cultivators to go there. Finally, Song Qingyi completed the mission. In the video of killing the Three-Eyed King, besides herself, there was also Dark Vortex and the boy in front of her. You know me. Upon hearing what Chen Mobai said, the aloof young man couldn't help but frown. Those who have reached the void refinement stage of cultivation generally have photographic memory. If the two had met before, he should recognize Chen Mobai. I posted some tasks on the Demon Market platform, and one of my fellow cultivators accepted them and completed them to my satisfaction. Chen Mobai did not hide anything. The power of the Takesu measuring ruler sent by his main body in his left hand gave him confidence that he could suppress any cultivator at the void refinement stage. So that's how it is. You're an intelligence broker. No wonder you were able to find this Demon Lord's secret realm. Upon seeing Chen Mobai's frankness, the aloof young man's eyes flashed with realization. Within the Demon Market platform, there are some incredibly powerful intelligence dealers who even know the secrets of the central dojo. Even he himself only learned about the Demon Lord's secret realm by chance after robbing Shan Jinxing, the intelligence merchant he was contacting in the Xuan Palace. How shall I address you, fellow Taoist? Chen Mobai didn't seem to mind the boy's previous attitude and asked with a smile. Boy, happiness is like a star. Upon hearing these two words, Chen Mobai's expression stiffened slightly. Previously on the Demon Market platform, it was this guy who wanted to get the coordinates of the Three-Eyed Clan's demon-infected planet for nothing, which caused the negotiations with Chen Mobai to break down. However, in order to solve the problem of the Three-Eyed Clan, Chen Mobai simply distributed the coordinates for free, which caused He Xing to have a lot of complaints. From this perspective, the two are also connected. Enough with the nonsense. The Demon Lord's secret realm is about to open. The more people there are, the smaller the chance of getting an opportunity. Do you want to go by yourself or should I take you? Even after revealing his name, He Xing still showed no courtesy to Chen Mobai. Chapter 1452, Seventh Order Void Power. Chapter 1452, Seventh Order Void Power. You're asking for it. Upon hearing this, Chen Mobai's expression turned cold, and while cursing, he immediately took action. With a resounding bell, the yin and yang energy circulated, transforming into black and white swimming fish in his right palm, like two divine lights, which clashed and slashed towards He Xing. The primordial yin-yang Tao. He Xing was slightly surprised when he saw Chen Mobai make his move. In the purple cloud universe, a cultivator who can reach the innate realm of Tao is an absolute genius. Fortunately, Chen Mobai is only at the initial stage of the innate realm. Otherwise, killing him would have been very difficult. Thinking of this, He Xing's eyes flashed with malice, and a radiant light of the great Tao mixed with a faint white glow erupted. The terrifying destructive power, in the instant it clashed with the yin and yang energies, pushed back towards Chen Mobai with unstoppable force. You were able to merge with the Tao of the innate realm. If you had grown up, you might have become a prominent figure in the future. It's a pity that the Tao you merged with has already been occupied. You must have come from a small power. You should feel honored to die under my destructive power. Chen Mobai was also surprised that a random cultivator from the Xuan Palace could actually master the innate great Tao. Moreover, it is the same destructive path as the white light. Although his yin-yang Tao was not weak, his true form was merely the sixth-order magic weapon, Morning Bell. When he encountered He Xing, who was close to the perfection of the void refinement stage, he was no match for him. Fortunately, I sent the mark of the great void measuring ruler. However, Chen Mobai was not worried at this critical moment. Facing the destructive white light that had broken through his yin and yang energies, he raised his left hand. A silver light shone in his palm, and in an instant, the void Tao centered on Chen Mobai began to submit, and its range continued to expand until it affected the entire Xuan Palace. In that instant, all the cultivators hidden throughout the Xuan Palace who were able to sense the void were shocked. Because the void, which they had manipulated at will, had now lost control. Some of those who were teleporting were ejected from the void. A tall cultivator, draped in a black robe of flames and sporting thick black eyebrows and a black beard, stood atop a small black hole, looking up with a slightly surprised expression in the direction of the anomaly in the void. This person is none other than Hai Shen Daijun, one of the few seventh-order beings in the Xuan Palace today. Has the Grandmaster of the Void made a move? It seems that this unusual upheaval in the Annihilation Tribulation is different from previous ones. As the Tao Lord of the Xuan Palace, Tao Lord Hai Shen cultivates both Xuan and demonic arts. Not only is his primordial spirit united with the Tao, but his physical body is also a seventh-order indestructible true spirit. The reason he was able to do this was because he had received the Demon Lord's inheritance. It was precisely for this reason that, when he learned that the Taixu Tao ancestor of the central Taoist temple was coming, he hid above this black hole, relying on the power of annihilation to cover up all traces of himself. Now, the void of the entire Xuan Palace is suddenly out of control, which means that a seventh-level being who controls the great Tao of the void has made a move. As everyone knows, the Grand Void Ancestor attained pure Yang by using the primordial void and yin and yang. The great Tao of Void is one of the lower great Taos under his control, so the Black God Tao Lord immediately thought of this person. To avoid being sensed by the Grand Void Ancestor, Tao Lord Hai Shen dared not use his seventh-level cultivation to touch the void and see what the source of the fluctuations was. At the same time, in the deepest part of the Xuan Palace, in front of a huge black hole vortex, almost the size of the entire Xuanhu Taoist temple, more than a dozen enormous Taoist Dharma images, as vast as the Milky Way, sat in the void, with the Taoist at the front as the leader, suppressing the annihilating power that was constantly swirling out of the vortex. The moment Chen Mobai used the Taixu measuring ruler, these seventh-order beings naturally sensed it and couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Tao Ancestor, has someone merged with the Tao into the void? A figure resembling a constellation of billions of stars addressed the Taoist priest at the front, asking a question. He was the Star Illusion Taoist Lord of the Central Dojo, and the Taoist priest was none other than the Grand Void Taoist ancestor. They are here to stop the spread of annihilation. One of my junior brothers came here and encountered an arrogant junior, so he taught him a lesson. With his back to the dozen or so seventh-order true immortals and Tao lords in the central Tao hall, Taixu Zhenwang spoke about the reason for the strange movement in the void. I see. It seems to be another reclusive master invited by a Tao ancestor. Upon hearing the Taoist's words, Xingyuan Daijun and the others looked enlightened, their eyes revealing a hint of joy. Since he is the junior brother of the Taixu Dao ancestor, he must be a disciple of the Zixao Dao Venerable, and to be able to survive until now, he must be at least a 7th level, or even possibly an 8th level pure yang. With such powerful reinforcements coming to help, this calamity might be resolved. No, that's impossible. At the source of the void fluctuations, Xing stared wide-eyed, his face filled with disbelief. The destructive power he had painstakingly cultivated throughout his life was instantly reduced to nothingness under the crushing force of the 7th-tier void power. The void then bound him to the spot and crushed him inch by inch. The Taisu measuring ruler is the void Tao of the Lingkong immortal realm. Although it is greatly reduced when transferred to the Zai Zio universe, it is still not a 7th-order power that a void refiner can withstand. Did you have any last words before you died? When Chen Mobai had crushed Xing down to just the head, he slightly controlled the power of the Tai Su measuring ruler and slowed down the speed. Who exactly are you, and why do you possess such power? Xing was a disciple of Taoist Hai Shen. He had worked hard to cultivate from the Tao of destruction. With great difficulty, he sublimated the power of destruction by using the destruction fruit. He thought his future was bright, and he was the strongest in the void refining realm in the vast purple cloud universe. He never expected that he would fall into the hands of Chen Mobai today. His face was full of resentment. I am Chen Mobai, the master of Zixao Palace. Chen Mobai fulfilled Xing's last wish and revealed his true identity. Xing's eyes widened even more when he heard the words, Master of Zixao Palace. He didn't believe it, but at this point, Chen Mobai had no reason to lie to him. Spare me, and I'll tell you how to enter the secret realm. Inside lies the Demon Lord's legacy, the supreme Tao of this universe. Xing thought of something that could save his life, and immediately begged for mercy. I might have been interested before, but not now. As Chen Mobai spoke, he looked up at the black hole before him. After using the power of the Tai Su measuring ruler, he discovered that he could manipulate the void and safely enter the deepest part of the black hole. This can be considered as making the best use of this 7th-tier power. Otherwise, killing only Xing, a void refiner, would be a real waste. That's a 9th-tier inheritance. Xing shouted loudly, but Chen Mobai waved his hand, and the head of his opponent was crushed into nothingness. It's as easy as brushing off dust. Chapter 1453. Please forgive me, Senior Demon Lord. Chapter 1453. Please forgive me, Senior Demon Lord. Xing was unaware that Chen Mobai not only possessed what he considered the most precious 9th-order inheritance in this universe, but also had more than one. Especially the Demon Lord's 9th-order inheritance, primordial beginning. He had already obtained it when he was in his nascent soul stage. After casually severing another line, Chen Mobai looked at the black hole in the starry sky. The power of the Tai Su measuring ruler has been activated, and Chen Mobai is able to unleash the power of the 7th-order void Tao in a short period of time, so he naturally will not waste it. This black hole, though radiating a destructive power that all great Taos fear like a tiger, is at least not so terrifying that even a 7th-order cultivator cannot reach it. It's just a small black hole. Will the Demon Lord leave his legacy here? Chen Mobai was very suspicious. However, beneath the 7th-order void Tao, he sensed that the deepest part of this black hole did indeed conceal a strange place similar to the Dharma realm. Getting inside is also very simple, because the portal is right at the center of the black hole. It only needs to be inhaled. However, the vast majority of living beings are reduced to nothingness by the power of annihilation the moment they approach the black hole. Chen Mobai surrounded himself with the power of the Taixu measuring ruler and moved his avatar toward the core of the black hole. The 7th-order void power was indeed extraordinary. Although it was constantly twisted and dissipated under the power of annihilation, it could be continuously generated out of thin air, allowing Chen Mobai to arrive at the center intact. The scene that followed sent a jolt through Chen Mobai's heart, because at the core of this black hole was the vortex he perceived with his sword sense, and right in the center of the vortex was a sword. Chen Mobai recognized it at a glance. It was Bai Guang's Forget Love sword. I knew I hadn't made a mistake. Chen Mobai's face lit up with joy. He immediately flew to the top of the vortex, reached out and grasped the Forgetfulness sword. Using his seventh order void power, he pulled it out. After the sword blade was pulled out of the vortex, it also dragged out a piece of pitch-black rag. It is clearly a fragment of the Grim Reaper's cloak. Chen Mobai immediately used the Cantong Qi to try to communicate with the sword spirit of the Forgetful sword and ask about the white light, but found that the sword was just an empty shell, and its spirituality had long been extinguished. Next, he tried to contemplate the fragments of the cloak together, and discovered that this tattered cloth still possessed a spiritual essence and had not been extinguished. This surprised Chen Mobai greatly, but when he tried to continue studying it, he found that he could not go any deeper. This means that this tattered cloth is of the seventh order essence. Feeling the intense power of death, Chen Mobai thought of the cycle of reincarnation in the Purple Cloud Palace. The Book of Life and Death, the innate treasure of the great Tao of life and death in this universe, is in the hands of reincarnation. The seventh-tier spiritual object on the avenue of death must be inextricably linked to him. No wonder death could get in here. Not only did he inherit the Demon Lord's legacy, but he also managed to get involved with his reincarnation senior brother. Bai Guang is really stupid. He was tricked into coming to this dangerous place. Please don't let anything happen to you. Muttering to himself, Chen Mobai had already given up hope that Bai Guang was still alive. After all, even he had only dared to step into the black hole because he relied on his seventh-level void power. However, since she saw Bai Guang confronting the true form of the Grim Reaper here through her sword sense, perhaps she will have other opportunities after separating from the Spirit Lord and be able to turn danger into safety. With that thought in mind, Chen Mobai no longer hesitated. He put away the forgetful sword and the tattered cloth and stepped directly into the vortex. In an instant, a powerful suction force engulfed him, and he disappeared from the spot. Protected by the seventh-order void power, Chen Mobai only felt darkness for a moment before he appeared on a land full of ruins and desolation. The void sky orbit vision cannot be used here, which clearly means that the void Tao here is no longer under the jurisdiction of the great Tao ancestor of the great void. Fortunately, the power of the Taixu measuring ruler in his palm still existed. However, it cannot be replenished continuously like it is outside. In other words, if Chen Mobai doesn't leave before he runs out of this seventh-order void power, he will never be able to go back. Although it was just an avatar, Chen Mobai still hoped to use it to bring Bai Guang back alive. With that thought in mind, he flew into the sky, his divine sense leaving his body, and in the most primal way he searched inch by inch, trying to find traces of the white light. However, this place was much larger than Chen Mobai had imagined. It was at least a large star system. Even with his 6th-level cultivation and flying at his fastest speed, he couldn't see the boundary. The only thing to be thankful for is that this world has no cover whatsoever. As far as the eye can see, all that can be seen is scorched earth. There were no living beings there either. It's like a future reduced to ruins after a catastrophe. Could this be the Demon Lord's testing ground for predicting the end times? Chen Mobai thought to himself. The realm of the 9th order of primordial origin has never been attained by anyone since ancient times. Even the Demon Lord, who was the embodiment of the great milestone of annihilation, could not comprehend it out of thin air. After all, even innate treasures like the Gate of the Void and the Purple Cloud Palace, after reincarnation and transformation, still need to merge with the great Tao, or even wait for an opportunity, before they can attain pure Yang. This is because he had received guidance from the Purple Cloud Taoist. Like the great millstone of annihilation, even with extraordinary talent, one can only reach the end of their own destined path. The upcoming 8th-tier star god sacrifice and the 9th-tier primordial heavenly demon will definitely require continuous experimentation. After reaching the 7th rank, one becomes immortal and indestructible, which can be used to make various attempts. Furthermore, given that this place is known as the Demon Lord's secret realm, Chen Mobai had reason to suspect that it was the Demon Lord's testing ground for attempting the 9th rank. How could I forget this? After searching aimlessly for a long time, Chen Mobai suddenly remembered something. He took out the star-piercing sword and released the avatar of the Grim Reaper sealed within it. Here it is. As expected, the moment the Grim Reaper appeared, he noticed the unusual environment of the Demon Lord's secret realm and looked shocked. So you knew all along? Upon hearing the words of the Grim Reaper incarnate, Chen Mobai nodded slightly. He then used his sword sense to perceive again, but found that all he could see was the forgetfulness sword he was holding and the black tattered cloth. This is the end. That's impossible. When the Grim Reaper saw the two items Chen Mobai took out, his gaze fell on the tattered black cloak, and his eyes widened in disbelief. My wife and your true form might still be alive, but I'm not very familiar with this Demon Lord's secret realm. Do you have any clues you can provide? Chen Mobai used the incarnation of the Grim Reaper in a certain place, so his tone was slightly calmer. You actually knew this was the Demon Lord's secret realm. The Grim Reaper was even more surprised after hearing Chen Mobai's words. The longer it drags on, the less likely they are to survive. Chen Mobai spoke up, reminding the Grim Reaper incarnate not to worry about such a trivial matter. My true form was crafted by the Lord of Reincarnation from a piece of black cloth used to wrap the Book of Life and Death. Over the long years, it developed sentience and received the inheritance of the Demon Lord, thus cultivating into the God of Death. This secret realm is the place I found after I attained the status of Yama Emperor, following some unseen guidance. To enter, one must face certain death to survive. I was able to do so by relying on the characteristics of my own Tao. How did you get in? After revealing a few things, the Grim Reaper turned to ask Chen Mobai. The latter did not hide anything and raised his left hand. The seventh order power emanating from the Taixu measuring ruler mark in his palm made the former both respectful and fearful. As expected of the master of Zixil Palace, this must be the power of the Grand Void Tao ancestor. At this moment, the incarnation of death had no intention of opposing Chen Mobai at all. In fact, he hoped to help the latter find the white light and resolve the karmic ties between them. The calamity of annihilation caused many black holes to appear out of thin air in the starry sky of the Xuan Palace, totaling 2999. Fellow Taoist, do you know what this number represents? Chen Mobai immediately thought of the answer to this question. Because the numbers just happened to be so coincidental. Chen Mobai, the Demon Lord's legacy. To attain the primordial heavenly demon realm, one needs 3,000 demonic paths, but the most crucial path, the holy demon path, is blocked by the Purple Cloud Palace. Therefore, the actual ninth order primordial realm is not complete. That's right. These 2,999 black holes all represent an aspect of the Demon Lord's legacy. My true form has become the Yama Emperor, so I can enter here. But in reality, the core of these black holes is all the same. As long as you cultivate the demonic path that represents inheritance to the seventh level, you can sink into the primordial heaven in the deepest part of the secret realm and obtain the Demon Lord's strongest inheritance, which is the ninth level of primordial heaven. After listening to what the incarnation of the Grim Reaper said, Chen Mobai's expression changed slightly, and he asked in detail which primordial heaven it was. Among the three sacred realms of the Linkang immortal realm, there is a primordial heaven. The two are pronounced the same, which almost led him to misunderstand. If you can't find your wife here, she may have gone to the primordial heaven. After the incarnation of the Grim Reaper finished speaking, Chen Mobai was a little puzzled. Why didn't he care about the life or death of his real body? The black cloth that my life was attached to has been torn, so I am definitely dead. If you are willing to spare me, my avatar can merge into the black cloth and combine with the remaining spirituality inside. Relying on the realm of rebirth through blood, I can come back to life. After hearing what the Grim Reaper had to say, Chen Mobai finally understood why he had that expression when he saw the black rag. It turned out that it had already sensed the remaining spirituality within the tattered cloth. Now that even his true form is dead, his avatar is completely at Chen Mobai's mercy and has no reason to resist. How do I get to the primordial heaven? Chen Mobai immediately asked. Fellow Taoist, this way. Without any hesitation, the Grim Reaper incarnate immediately began to guide them according to his memories. Following his directions, Chen Mobai flew for a full 6 months before finally arriving at the very heart of this secret realm. Compared to other scorched earth, there is a small gray-white stone hill here. At the top of the mountain, there was a circular milestone altar. Chen Mobai naturally recognized that this millstone was exactly the same as the world-destroying millstone in his sea of consciousness. After sensing the arrival of Chen Mobai and the incarnation of the god of death, one side of the world-destroying millstone altar, which was originally shining with white light, slowly dimmed, while the other two sides lit up. One of the aspects is very familiar to the Grim Reaper, representing the Yama Tenshi he has attained. But the other side of the story made him gape, his eyes almost popping out of their sockets. He is the leader of the 3,000 demonic paths, the primordial heavenly demon. Now there are only two living beings here. In other words, I was blind and did not recognize the demon lord. Please forgive me, senior demon lord. The Grim Reaper incarnate immediately knelt down before Chen Mobai. Although the demon lord spread his legacy throughout the purple heaven universe, no one has ever been able to cultivate the primordial heavenly demon. After all, everyone knows that the primordial heavenly demon is the demon lord. Those who choose this path will ultimately be devoured by the demon lord. Furthermore, due to the selfishness and narrow-mindedness of the demonic path, it is absolutely impossible for a successor to prove a demonic path that has already been proven, even if it is only at the 6th level. Therefore, when the incarnation of death saw the face representing the primordial demon lit up on the world-destroying mill altar, he mistakenly believed that Chen Mobai was the reincarnation of the sealed demon lord. With the demon lord's reincarnation this time, he has already obtained the sacred treasure of Zixel Palace. Doesn't that mean that he will soon be able to integrate the 3,000 demonic paths and attain the primordial heavenly demon realm? Thinking of this, the embodiment of death was both extremely excited and trembling with fear. After all, compared to the supreme being who created the purple cloud universe demonic path, he, a mere 6th-order Yama emperor, was merely sustenance according to the rules of the demonic path. Get up, I am not the demon lord. But at this moment, Chen Mobai spoke up and said something like this. He was initially startled by the actions of the Grim Reaper, and seeing how certain the latter was, he even began to doubt himself. But soon, Chen Mobai realized that if he were the reincarnation of the demon lord, the true king of Taixu would definitely not recognize him as his junior brother, and even the Zixel Palace would not recognize him as its master, let alone become a disciple of the Zixel Daizun. As a disciple of the Purple Cloud Taoist, he is certainly innocent. Senior certainly doesn't want to expose himself before he proves himself to be a 9th-order primordial being. I understand. From today onwards, I will stay obediently in this secret realm and will absolutely not go out. The Grim Reaper, misunderstanding the situation, and repeatedly assured that the secret would not be revealed from his mouth. How can we enter the primordial heaven through this altar? Chen Mobai was too lazy to explain anymore. For him, the most important thing right now was definitely finding Bai Guang. The senior has poured his primordial demonic power into the world-destroying mill altar, so he should be able to go there. The incarnation of death was also somewhat unaware of this. After all, his true form had spent his entire life cultivating, aiming to advance the Yama Emperor's technique to the 7th rank, thereby entering the primordial heaven. But he never managed to do it in his entire life, and died under Bai Guang's sword. Will this work? After hearing this, Chen Mobai hesitated slightly. After all, his avatar was entirely based on the Yin-Yang Dao, a pure Xuanmen technique. At this point, however, all we could do was try anything, even if it seemed hopeless. He reached out his left hand. At that moment, the 7th-order power of the Taixu measuring ruler in his palm reacted violently with the world-destroying mill altar. Chapter 1454, Reunion with Bai Guang. Chapter 1454, Reunion with Bai Guang. On the altar of the great mill of annihilation, the two sides that were originally lit went dark and turned into another side. Void Demon. After the 7th-order void power was detected, Chen Mobai was deemed to have met the requirements, and then his entire body was enveloped by the endless black light surging from the altar. Is this a very crude testing method? Chen Mobai cursed inwardly, but he did not use the power of the void to resist at this moment, letting the altar of the world-destroying mill send him away. The Grim Reaper, watching Chen Mobai vanish in an instant, became even more certain of his guess. Senior Demon Lord's return to the primordial heaven this time is definitely to reclaim his past life's power and restore his original form. I hope that, after he proves the primordial heaven, he will return my cloth to me. Chen Mobai felt dizzy, as if he had fallen into a kaleidoscope. Before his eyes were reflected one great road after another, constantly overlapping and changing, giving rise to one flower of the great road after another. Is this the primordial heaven? Chen Mobai was filled with surprise and doubt. He looked around and found that compared to the demon lord's secret realm he had entered through the black hole before, this place was even more infinitely empty. He casually took a step in any direction, and the kaleidoscopes around him began to spin, producing a different kind of great Tao flower than before. Chen Mobai tried countless times and finally discovered some patterns. Although the flowers on the avenue reflected in the kaleidoscope around the area will change as you move, they will revert to the same flower pattern when you return to your original position. In other words, the Great Way is both unchanging and constantly changing. The key lies in whether to move or not. But what test did the demon lord intend to test by leaving this behind? Chen Mobai fell into deep thought. He didn't care about the so-called ninth-order primordial inheritance. After all, the true king of Taixu had said that the path of cultivation was all for the benefit of the demon lord. His only reason for wanting to enter the primordial heaven was to retrieve the white light. Is the white light here too? Chen Mobai memorized every step he took and flew through this mysterious and ethereal kaleidoscope space for a whole year, but he was never able to reach the boundary or encounter another living being. Here it's as if everything has been extinguished. Only nothingness and the unattainable flower of the great road. After a long while, Chen Mobai returned to the spot where he had entered. He stood in the void, looking at the flowers of the great Tao reflected in the kaleidoscope around him. In his mind, all the images he had observed over the past year began to be arranged and combined, searching for the patterns within them. As a powerful figure at the peak of the 8th rank in the purple cloud universe, the demon lord must have left behind this secret realm for more than just a cage. Considering this is a place of inheritance, Chen Mobai guessed that he might need to comprehend some profound truth of the demonic path before he could leave. Thinking of this, Chen Mobai sat down cross-legged, and golden light appeared in his eyes. With the Fangkun book technique now in his hands, he quickly mastered it to its peak. Coupled with his unparalleled comprehension enhanced by the 5 tones of music, he began to rapidly process all the information in his mind. Time passed slowly. He didn't know how much time had passed when Chen Mobai suddenly looked up and gazed at one of the silver-gray great Tao flowers that had formed a kaleidoscope. I see. Chen Mobai raised his left hand, a look of sudden realization on his face. He had already comprehended the true mystery of the primordial beginning here. The primordial beginning is indeed a path of transcendence, different from the creation itself. Thinking of this, Chen Mobai unleashed the power of the Taixu measuring ruler in his palm, freezing the silver-gray flower in place. With a bang, a sound like shattering glass rang out. The silver-gray flower split open, and brilliant light poured in from the crack, like sunlight streaming through a broken window in a dark room. Without hesitation, Chen Mobai faced the sunlight and left the void that had trapped him for who knows how long. Clang! Just as Chen Mobai took one step out, he heard a familiar sword cry. Looking up, he saw a pure white, destructive sword light slashing down from all directions. Chen Mobai remained calm and even somewhat pleased. He knew that Bai Guang was the one who would make the move, but he didn't say anything. He planned to take this opportunity to solidify his position within the family. Although he is currently only the incarnation of the Morning Bell, the power of the void measuring ruler in his palm has not been completely used up. Even if only a portion remains, it is still enough to suppress a mere void refinement cultivator. Thinking of this, Chen Mobai, amidst the sky full of sword light, put his right hand behind his back and raised his left hand as if lifting a curtain. The final 7th order, void power, erupted and transformed into a jade ruler. Chen Mobai, like a schoolteacher, held a jade ruler and gently tapped it in the empty space in front of him. The void froze for a moment, and then the pure white sword light condensed from the innate destructive power around them, dissipated like shattered jade fragments. Huh! A slightly surprised voice rang out from the white light, followed by what appeared to be the brandishing of some heavy weapon, causing the air to whistle and fluctuate violently. At that moment, Chen Mobai, holding a jade ruler, stepped out. It's you. Bai Guang, who was standing on a mountaintop in the distance, saw Chen Mobai and his eyes lit up with joy. He immediately pulled back the giant axe he was swinging. However, Bai Guang seemed to have some difficulty controlling the giant axe. Even with both hands, he could only barely deflect the direction and avoid the axe's direct attack on Chen Mobai. You're a mother now, and you still make my daughter and me worry every day." Upon seeing the white light, Chen Mobai immediately launched into a lecture. He also noticed that Bai Guang was struggling to hold the giant axe, so he casually raised the jade ruler in his hand and pointed it at the axe that was falling towards him. Thinking of using this 7th-tier void power to demonstrate his strength and let Bai Guang know who's in charge at home from now on. Then something somewhat embarrassing happened to Chen Mobai. The jade ruler, formed from 7th-order void power, suddenly disintegrated into grains of silver sand the instant it was aimed at the axe, flowing away from his palm. Has the power of the celestial measuring ruler been exhausted? Why now of all times? Chen Mobai felt a little regretful that he hadn't been able to show off properly in front of Bai Guang. Boom! Then a deafening roar resounded. Chen Mobai turned his head and saw a scene that left him stunned. The giant axe in Bai Guang's hand, which had been deflected, crashed heavily down below, right where Chen Mobai was supposed to land after emerging. There was also an altar shaped like a world-destroying millstone. At that moment, the axe chopped straight into one side of the millstone, producing the same sound as before. Chen Mobai also saw that there was not only this one mark on the millstone, but many sides had been chopped by an axe. Chapter 1455, Heavenly Acts of Annihilation. Chapter 1455, Heavenly Acts of Annihilation. What kind of axe is this? Chen Mobai was shocked. In the Demon Lord's secret realm he had previously entered through the black hole, he had tried to use the Cantong Pact to examine the altar of the world-destroying millstone, but found that there was no reaction at all. Moreover, it truly contained the power left behind by the Demon Lord, which was equivalent to a part of the world-destroying millstone, a supreme innate treasure. Now, having passed through the void where the great Tao kaleidoscope is located, the place we have arrived at must be the core of the Demon Lord's secret realm. The millstone-shaped altar in front of us may even be the original form of the innate treasure, the world-destroying millstone. At this moment, Chen Mobai realized that it wasn't that the power of the great Tao of the Taixu measuring ruler had been exhausted, but rather that it was easily destroyed by the axe. It seems to be called something like the heavenly axe of annihilation of Tao. It insists on recognizing me as its master and clings to my hand, and I can't shake it off. At this moment Bai Guang flew over, looked at Chen Mobai's familiar face, and said with a smile, "Hiss." Upon hearing the words destroying heavenly axe, Chen Mobai gasped in shock. Having reached his level of cultivation, he possessed an unparalleled memory. Naturally, he instantly recalled the information he had seen within the boundary gate. This is an 8th-order innate treasure of the central dojo, which has long been mysteriously missing. Anyone who can provide accurate information can obtain 800 Dao merits. Unexpectedly, it has fallen into the hands of Bai Guang. "Madam, where did you obtain this destructive treasure?" After learning the origin of the axe in Bai Guang's hand, Chen Mobai decided to postpone determining his family status. When the main body brings the Purple Cloud Palace in the future, we will discuss this matter with Bai Guang. Given that both possess innate treasures, Chen Mobai did not believe he was weaker than Bai Guang. "It flew into my hand by itself. When I was battling death in the starry sky and was about to die, this axe came out of the void, fell into my hand, and guided me to chop down death along with his black cloth body. Then it led me through countless voids until we entered this place and then stopped." Bai Guang's lips curled into a slight smile when she heard Chen Mobai address her, seemingly pleased. She didn't hide anything and described in detail how she obtained the Annihilation Axe. It was even easier for Chen Mobai to obtain the Purple Cloud Palace than for him. This innate treasure actually came to us of its own accord. Chen Mobai thought of Qing Nu's origins, hesitated for a moment, and still couldn't help but ask, "Madam, could you be the reincarnation of a powerful figure from the central dojo?" Because Qing Nu was the reincarnation of the Holy Mother Turtle Spirit, Turtle Treasure automatically sought her out, but by chance, it fell into Chen Mobai's hands. The Heavenly Axe of Annihilation, a supreme innate destructive treasure, is on par with the Gate of the Void and the Purple Cloud Palace. Now she flew from the central dojo and landed in Bai Guang's hand, automatically recognizing herself as its master. Either she was the owner of this innate treasure in her previous life, or she is the reincarnation of the spirit of the Annihilation Heavenly Axe. I don't think so. I haven't awakened any memories of my past life. Bai Guang hesitated regarding Chen Mobai's description of the situation. After all, she had practiced the method of seeking emptiness through subtraction. While she herself used Shi Wanyu to sever karmic ties, was she, Yu Bai Guang, also a product of some powerful being's method of seeking emptiness through subtraction? Let's leave that aside for now. Put the axe away and let's figure out a way to get out of here together. Chen Mobai was very clear-headed. Bai Guang possessed the heavenly axe of annihilation, which was definitely a good thing for him, since she was his officially announced wife. Just as the cataclysmic calamity erupted, the Zixel universe was about to experience the most terrifying calamity since its creation. He had the Zixel palace, and Bai Guang had the annihilation axe. When they were wandering with the Earth origin star, even a seventh-order true immortal Tao Lord would treat the couple with great respect. The only downside is that, after returning to Earth Star with the white light, I'll need to find some excuses to go to the heavenly river realm in the future. Also, we need to find a way to get Yan Bingxuan and Meng Huanger to be patient. Meng Huanger will definitely obey, but it's uncertain whether Yan Bingxuan will be able to accept it. Chen Mobai had already devised a solution to defeat Bai Guang fair and square with his strength. He also stated that during the long years she was gone, he and Yan Bingxuan had rekindled their old flame, and now that she was back, he couldn't let her down. After all, it was Bai Guang who was older and younger, and she took Chen Mobai away. She was in the wrong, and since she had neither the strength nor the right to do so, she should be able to accept this. Would have thought that Bai Guang's luck was so amazing that a supreme innate treasure would come to him on its own initiative. Given his superior strength, Chen Mobai didn't believe women could reason, especially Bai Guang, so he decided to put the matter aside for the time being. This cannot be accepted. Bai Guang, however, helplessly grasped the heavenly axe of annihilation and sent it into her domain in front of Chen Mobai. But as soon as the axe entered, the void of her domain began to shatter. Seeing this, Chen Mobai was once again certain that what Bai Guang held in his hand was genuine. That millstone altar, have you gained any insights from it over the years? Chen Mobai landed on the ground with a white light. The environment here was similar to the Demon Lord's secret realm before, both being scorched earth. However, the great millstone of annihilation here had deep dents, clearly made by the heavenly axe of annihilation. So here's the question. What grade is this millstone that can withstand the blows of the eighth order innate treasure, the heavenly axe of annihilation, without breaking? Thinking of this, Chen Mobai felt both excited and apprehensive. If this is indeed the true form of the great millstone of annihilation, then this place is undoubtedly the primordial heaven. Although the Demon Lord has been sealed away, he will most likely leave behind a protective force in his lair. Even a single hair from a peak 8th tier being is something that the couple, mere void refinement cultivators, cannot withstand. I have obtained a legacy called the Annihilation Demon. Bai Guang followed Chen Mobai to the millstone, recorded the inheritance he had received on a piece of paper, and handed it to the latter. Why isn't it the primordial heavenly demon? Chen Mobai was somewhat curious, since, given the foundation of the white light destroying the great Tao, it should be more suitable for the primordial heavenly demon method than he was. What is the primordial heavenly demon? Just as Bai Guang was wondering, Chen Mobai had finished reading about the annihilation demon, and then his eyes widened slightly, and his breathing became a little more rapid. Because this method of annihilating the demons can actually be cultivated to the 9th level. Compared to the primordial heavenly demon, it merely changed the original core Tao of the end of fortune to the Tao of annihilation. Why would Bai Guang, a practitioner of the great Tao of destruction, receive a legacy primarily based on the great Tao of nirvana? As Chen Mobai was filled with surprise and doubt, Bai Guang groped around on his body for a moment and took off the white armor he was wearing. Chapter 1456 Broken Sword. Chapter 1456 Broken Sword. Madam, what are you doing? Seeing Bai Guang's actions, Chen Mobai waved his hands repeatedly to stop him, indicating that it was inappropriate. Moreover, he is only an avatar here. Even if he wants to be intimate, he should wait until they get back. Here you go. Bai Guang simply took off his armor and handed it to Chen Mobai, letting the latter know that he had overthought things. This Lingxiao immortal armor is the key to unleashing the chaos Yuanqi cannon. Without this, the immortal sect would be missing a means to fight against a 6th order existence. I have the annihilation heavenly axe in hand, so I'll return this to the immortal sect. After hearing this, Chen Mobai shook his head and handed the Linkseo immortal armor back. This armor can only play its full role when it's in your hands. Moreover, I have already used the Annihilation Eye to reforge that war artifact in the Linkseo Palace. As the couple were talking, the spirit of the Linkseo immortal armor also poked its head out. Seeing Chen Mobai, whom it hadn't seen for a long time, it was both surprised and delighted. They were surprised that Chen Mobai, who had only just reached the nascent soul stage, was now already at the void refining stage. Thank you for helping my wife back then. I happen to have some materials with me. After greeting Linkseo immortal armor, Chen Mobai remembered his promise to the latter. With the extinction axe, it was impossible to advance to the destruction treasure. However, if Bai Guang could truly merge with the Tao, choosing a postnatal path related to destruction would still be no problem. Of course, before that, the Linkseo immortal armor itself must be at the peak of the 6th rank. Chen Mobai took out some 6th-grade high-quality materials that matched the attributes of the Linkseo immortal armor and used the Cantong Qi to upgrade and integrate them. This process would take some time, so he continued to study the world-destroying millstone in front of him. You mean this thing is also an 8th-tier innate treasure? After hearing Chen Mobai's guess, Bai Guang's eyes lit up. He started moving his hands and feet around the millstone, thinking about how to refine it and take it away. You have already stepped onto the path of destruction, and the heavenly axe of annihilation has recognized you as its master. You can only go all the way on this path. The great Tao contained in this great millstone of annihilation cannot help you attain pure yang. Don't waste your time. Upon seeing Bai Guang's appearance, Chen Mobai immediately offered some advice. I can't use it, but it's good to take it back for my daughter. With this in hand, no one will dare to bully her in the future. Bai Guang's thinking was simple. He wanted to take the good stuff with him. Madam, while the logic is sound, this world-destroying millstone is far too significant for me to handle. Chen Mobai saw that Bai Guang seemed a little confused and knew that she didn't know much about the world-destroying mill and the demon lord. After all, not everyone has his kind of opportunity and background. He quickly spoke up and recounted the matter concerning the demon lord. In other words, the spirit of this innate treasure is the reincarnation of the supreme demonic being of this universe. After listening to what Chen Mobai said, Bai Guang understood that the world-destroying millstone was a hot potato. The demon lord is at the 8th level and is cultivating the primordial Tao, which means that he has definitely occupied the great Tao of the end of fortune. Therefore, even if he can take away the world-destroying millstone or even refine it, he will not be able to seize this great Tao. Those who obtain the world-destroying millstone will not only be hunted down by the righteous sects, but will also have to be constantly wary of the demon lord's return, who will devour them and turn them into provisions. From what I know, the demon lord is the great millstone of annihilation. However, after the calamity of the destruction of the Xuan Palace, he was suppressed by the Tao ancestor of the Great Void. It is precisely because of this that you have been able to enter the primordial heaven for so long and still survive. Chen Mobai's words made Bai Guang mutter, I didn't want to come in here. This axe brought me in. As he spoke, Bai Guang raised the heavenly axe of annihilation in his hand, his eyes filled with complex emotions. She was very happy that the axe was an 8th-order innate treasure, but the fact that it wasn't a sword made her, a sword cultivator, somewhat depressed. Moreover, she is a woman, and it's really not elegant for her to carry an axe in battle. For sword cultivators, everything can be a sword. Just treat this annihilation heavenly axe as a strangely shaped sword. Chen Mobai immediately saw through Bai Guang's thoughts and offered his advice. He was a pragmatist. If he had to choose between a 7th-tier flying sword and an 8th-tier heavenly axe of annihilation, he would definitely choose the latter without any hesitation. Appearance and looks are secondary, strength is everything. That's all we can do. It's a pity I lost my forget-me-not sword during my battle with death. As Bai Guang spoke, Chen Mobai had already drawn the forgetful sword from thin air. When I used my sword sense to find it, I saw the sword right there in the black hole vortex outside. It's just a pity that the sword spirit had already disappeared under the power of annihilation. Chen Mobai said with some regret, but Bai Guang happily accepted his natal flying sword. I'm already very satisfied with finding the forgetful sword. I can refine it again in the future and leave it to my daughter. After Bai Guang finished speaking, his gaze towards Chen Mobai was very ardent. Indeed, You are my benefactor." After Bai Guang met Chen Mobai, she basically encountered only good things, which made her glad that she had made contact with Chen Mobai when she was doing the short-selling strategy. After the spirit of your forgetfulness sword disappeared, it was filled with the power of annihilation. If you want to advance in the future, you can only do so by entrusting your cultivation to the great Tao of annihilation. Although my daughter is exceptionally talented, if she wants to perfect the Tao of annihilation, she can only wait for the end of the universe. At that time, the primordial beginning will be born, and she will probably be devoured by the demon lord the moment she merges with the Tao. It's better not to give her the sword of oblivion. Moreover, I have already mastered the finger profound sword to the 6th level. My daughter has been guided by it since she was a child, and she is very compatible with it. Chen Mobai and Bai Guang reasoned with each other, saying that for a sword cultivator, one sword is enough. Although Chen Ziohe is not a pure sword cultivator like Bai Guang, the forgetful sword is indeed not suitable for her. "You're right, then we'll listen to you on this matter." Bai Guang was willing to listen to anyone who was concerned about her daughter's future. "By the way, madam, if you really like swords, I also have a purple lightning sword, which perfectly embodies the Tao of destruction and is already at the 6th rank. You can use it when you're not using the Annihilation Heavenly Axe." Chen Mobai now possesses too many magical artifacts. Not to mention the innate holy virtue treasure of Zixil Palace, he also has the 7th Order Hunyuan Golden Cauldron in Tian Realm, and the Yuanyang Sword, etc., which are being forged in the Netherworld to correspond to his own great Tao. In the future, they will all be at least half-step 7th Order. The Purple Lightning Sword had no chance of ever appearing in his hands. However, considering its many years of hard work and contributions, Chen Mobai still arranged a good future for it. With the heavenly axe of annihilation in hand, if Bai Guang can merge with the Tao in the future, the Purple Lightning Sword will be able to merge with the acquired Great Tao related to destruction, just like the Lingxiao immortal armor, and advance to the 7th Order Tao-attaining treasure. The Purple Lightning Sword. The fact that I let this sword follow you back then was indeed the greatest opportunity of its life. Bai Guang nodded with satisfaction when he heard that the Purple Lightning Sword had reached the 6th level. "Huh, you made it follow me." Chen Mobai listened to Bai Guang's words with a puzzled look, asking what was going on. "Back then at the Mountain and Sea Academy, wasn't my reincarnation there too? I was ignorant back then and infused 14 sword energies into the white stone, thus revealing my identity. Hao Cao thought I wanted the Purple Lightning Sword, so he put me on the list and found some other sword prodigies to cover it up. When the Purple Lightning Sword finally resonated with me, it sensed my unparalleled swordsmanship and wanted to acknowledge me as its master. But I was love-struck back then. I felt that since you came to the Mountain and Sea Academy, this sword should belong to you, so I refused the Purple Lightning Sword's claim to be its master and let it fly to find you." Bai Guang smiled and recounted this past event. In an instant, Chen Mobai recalled that when the Purple Lightning Sword recognized its master, it didn't initially come from his direction. According to the Purple Lightning Sword, it was pointing in the wrong direction. Only now do I realize that this kid went to find Shi Wanyu first, and only came to find me after being rejected by her. So that's how it is. Damn, I've been fooled by this kid for hundreds of years. After hearing this, Chen Mobai couldn't help but curse. He had thought that among all the magical artifacts, the Purple Lightning Sword was the most loyal. Judging by actions rather than intentions, it has at least helped you a lot. Bai Guang, however, spoke up for Zai Dian, thinking that when they got back, he would ask Zai Dian if Chen Mobai had been seeing any disreputable women during the years she was gone. "Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's think about how to get out of here." Chen Mobai was an extremely shrewd person. From Bai Guang's unusual behavior, he immediately realized that the Purple Lightning Sword had followed him through countless battles and knew almost all of his secrets. Putting everything else aside, if Bai Guang were to find out about Qing Nu's existence, a major fight would likely break out. Once we get back, we'll find an excuse and say that the Purple Lightning Sword encountered a powerful enemy in a battle and was broken. Chen Mobai had already figured out a reason in his heart to keep the Purple Lightning Sword in the Heavenly River realm forever. If this world-destroying millstone is the core of the primordial heaven, would it be possible to escape by splitting it in half? Bai Guang explained his idea, raised the heavenly axe of annihilation in his hand, aimed it at the dented axe mark on the millstone, and planned to use the simplest method. It's possible, but it's also possible that this primordial heaven will completely collapse, and we will be buried with it. Chen Mobai didn't care about this, since what he was here was merely an avatar. But Bai Guang is the real Bai Guang. Although he doesn't want his wife to go back, he won't deliberately push her into the abyss. Then what should we do? While Bai Guang was troubled, Chen Mobai began to study the inheritance of the annihilation demon. The heavenly axe of annihilation brought the white light into this place, and the great millstone of annihilation also bestowed this inheritance. The key to getting out is most likely here. Chen Mobai had already comprehended the true essence of the primordial heavenly demon within the great Tao kaleidoscope, and by analogy, he quickly understood the method of the annihilation heavenly demon. The so-called demonic path is indeed completely different from the Chuanmen cultivation method left by Taoist Xiao. The 8th level of the Chuanmen Pure Yang is a combination of two opposing innate Taos, possessing boundless magical power and supernatural abilities. The demonic path, on the other hand, takes its own great Tao as its foundation. Starting from the 7th level of immortality, it begins to forge the 3,000 great Taos, dispersing countless thoughts and entrusting its spirit to the stars. In this process, it uses the other 3,000 great Taos to replenish its own foundation, ultimately achieving immortality. For example, the Demon Lord's primordial Tao is based on the great Tao of the end of time. He can freely oppose the great Tao of his 72 phases to the great Tao of the end of time, and possess the same power and realm as pure Yang. It is precisely for this reason that the Demon Lord's 8th order realm can change at any time. When facing any pure Yang opponent, he can use the most restraining Tao to fight back, making him invincible throughout the universe. These were the boastful words left by the Demon Lord when Chen Mobai comprehended the primordial truth. However, Chen Mobai, who knew of his fate of being sealed by the Grandmaster of the Void, was not entirely convinced by this. In this universe, the most powerful force is undoubtedly the Xiao Palace lineage. The difference between the Nirvana Heavenly Demon method and the Primordial Heavenly Demon method lies only in the fact that the core Tao of the End of Fortune has been replaced by the Tao of Nirvana. Similarly, there was the Great Freedom Emperor technique that Chen Mobai obtained on Kangliuxing. That was left behind by the compassionate senior brother, but the core has been changed to innate killing luck. It seems that you were the one who obtained the Great Freedom Emperor's method first. Thinking of this, Chen Mobai recalled what the Spirit Venerable had said. Bai Guang randomly found a planet, found Kangliuxing, and then, having chosen the great Tao of destruction, passed on this inheritance to the Spirit Venerable. Yes, that's true. Bai Guang nodded after hearing what Chen Mobai said, recalling the matter. Why does it seem like Brother Saibai intends to pass on his legacy to her? Chen Mobai looked at the white light and thought to himself. Then he looked at the heavenly axe of annihilation in her hand and became even more suspicious about the origin of the white light. With her powerful background, Chen Mobai only thought of himself. He possesses the pure Yang scroll passed down by the purple cloud Taoist, the turtle treasure, a 9th order treasure of creation, and the purple cloud palace, an 8th order treasure of innate saintly virtue. Madam, since we are husband and wife, we should be honest with each other. Think back to your cultivation path and recall any strange things that happened. Chen Mobai thought that Bai Guang was able to make Saibai leave behind a legacy, and that the extinction axe took the initiative to come to him, so her background must be quite impressive. She was probably from the Xiao Palace lineage. He planned to find clues by reflecting on his 3 visits to the Xiao Palace from her memories. When Bai Guang first heard Chen Mobai say, frankness, her pretty face flushed slightly, but after hearing the second half of the sentence, she realized she had misunderstood and couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. That's true. When I was little, I often had a dream about a broken sword with only the blade and no hilt, but after I entered the weaponry academy, that dream suddenly disappeared. Bai Guang recalled the dream that had haunted her since childhood. Every time she closed her eyes, a broken sword as white as jade would appear before her, hanging straight above her head. At first, she was covered in cold sweat when she woke up, but over time she got used to it, and her talent in swordsmanship began to show. She became the first person in the history of the immortal sect to practice the void with swordsmanship. Broken sword. Upon hearing these 2 words, Chen Mobai suddenly remembered what he had obtained from the jade tree in the alchemy cauldron. Chapter 1457, Destroying the Spirit. Chapter 1457, Destroying the Spirit. When Chen Mobai advanced to the late stage of the nascent soul realm, he completely refined the jade tree of the pill cauldron, obtaining fragments of the heavenly phoenix mirror and a broken sword from it. This broken sword belongs to Wangji. Through the Kantonki, Chen Mobai saw that in the distant past, Zhang Daesun, on his master's orders, brought this broken sword and buried it together with the fragments of the heavenly phoenix mirror, the natal magic weapon of Dan Ding Dao Ren. When it was brought with it, although it was a broken sword, it was in two pieces. When it reached Chen Mobai's hands, only half remained. Now, based on Bai Guang's words, Chen Mobai has probably guessed the truth. Bai Guang was the reincarnation of the missing half of the broken sword, and that's why she never had that dream again after entering the Dance Weapon Academy. Madam, you may be the reincarnation of Taoist Wangji's sword spirit. Chen Mobai explained his speculation, and Bai Guang nodded in realization. No wonder my swordsmanship talent is unparalleled. It turns out I was originally a sword. But Chen Mobai immediately frowned, realizing something was amiss. After all, when Taoist Wangji's sword was buried in the jade tree of the pill cauldron, it had already broken into two pieces. It was probably broken during the battle with the Demon Lord. Given the Demon Lord's methods, it was impossible for him to leave the sword's spirit intact. Did Daejun Wangji learn a powerful technique in Zixel Palace that allowed him to save the sword spirit? Or perhaps Bai Guang is not the reincarnation of Wangji's sword spirit, but has another astonishing identity. After all, the sword spirit of Taoist Wangji was not enough to make the Eighth Order innate treasure, the heavenly acts of annihilation, willingly surrender. What's wrong? Seeing Chen Mobai frown, Bai Guang couldn't help but ask, and the latter didn't hide anything, telling him everything he was thinking. Whether I have a past life or who I was in my past life, I am now just Yu Baiguang of the immortal sect, your wife, and Zio Hai's mother. Bai Guang said something that moved Chen Mobai deeply. You didn't acknowledge your daughter when you left, and we don't know if she'll recognize you when you get back. Chen Mobai couldn't handle Bai Guang's sudden sweet talk, and changed the subject by talking about his daughter. Isn't it because of you? If you, as the father, say a few nice things, your daughter will definitely recognize me as her mother. After all, blood is thicker than water. Bai Guang smiled as he came to Chen Mobai's side and took his hand. Seeing Bai Guang's attitude, Chen Mobai stopped bringing up the complicated issue of whether Shi Wanyu's child counted as Yu Baiguang's. Sai, I can't help but be soft-hearted. Let's make it clear first, I'll be the one in charge at home once we get back. Chen Mobai took this opportunity to establish her position in the family. I'll listen to you on small matters. I don't like to get involved. For big matters, we'll discuss them together depending on the situation. At this moment, Bai Guang was no longer driven by romantic feelings. After all, in her opinion, although Chen Mobai had also reached the Void Realm, his strength was definitely inferior to hers. Based on her instinct to let strength speak for itself, she felt it was better for her, the capable one, to control the discourse. It was under her leadership that the immortal sect flourished. Also, okay. Chen Mobai glanced at the heavenly axe of annihilation in Bai Guang's other hand and reluctantly accepted it. It's a pity the broken sword is in Chen Mobai's hands. Otherwise, we could see what strange changes would occur after it fell into Bai Guang's hands. However, the most urgent task is to get out of here. But Chen Mobai tried many methods, yet he still couldn't find a way out. After reviewing the inheritance of the annihilation demon once more, Chen Mobai arrived before the world-destroying millstone. After a moment's hesitation, he instructed the white light, I will attempt to refine this millstone later. If any unexpected situations arise, such as me becoming possessed by demons and losing my mind, do not hesitate to kill me directly. Refinement, are you planning to cultivate the annihilation heavenly demon? Bai Guang was shocked when she heard this. Although she was not strongly opposed to the demonic path and believed that it was used for good, she still did not want Chen Mobai to fall into demonic ways if possible. No, this world-destroying millstone is a supreme treasure of the end times, and it requires the cultivation of the primordial heavenly magic. Chen Mobai shook his head and said something that made Bai Guang's eyes widen even more. Where did you get the primordial heavenly demon's inheritance from? I obtained it by chance when I was studying the Tao on Earth Origin Star. Facing the pure white light, Chen Mobai did not hide anything and told about how he obtained the inheritance of the primordial heavenly demon. There's this inside the core of the Earth Origin Star. Bai Guang was shocked. After all, when she and Kai and Xing suppressed the immortal sect, they had been constantly observing and even releasing the demonic thoughts within the star core. But neither she nor Kaixing had ever obtained any demonic techniques. That's because you didn't have it. Senior brother Kaixing actually received the inheritance of the Yuan Shen heavenly demon. Chen Mobai then revealed another secret. Before Kaixing began studying the Taixu heavenly book, he had already truthfully explained everything and even passed some of it on to Yungsu. Goodness, when I get back, I'm going to give him a good beating. Bai Guang's pretty face showed slight anger, thinking that it was extremely despicable for Kai and Xing to keep such a matter from her. He was afraid that you would be too righteous and disapprove of demonic methods, so he didn't dare to say anything. But now he has switched to cultivating the heavenly book that I bought from the Realm Gate, and he has successfully reached the void refinement stage. You should give him some face in the future. Chen Mobai knew Bai Guang's personality well. After offering a word of advice, he sat down in front of the world-destroying millstone. Although this incarnation is based on the yin-yang Tao, the most powerful aspect of the primordial heavenly magic is its ability to transform any Tao into the demonic Tao. The great Tao of yin and yang is also on one side of the great millstone of annihilation. As Chen Mobai transformed his Tao into the yin-yang heavenly demon, the world-destroying millstone, which had previously remained unresponsive, finally lit up. Unfortunately, his cultivation level was still too weak. Only one side lit up, and then there was no further response. Considering that, before entering the primordial heaven, it was the void power of the Tai Su measuring ruler that was activated, causing him to be mistaken for a seventh-order void demon, which is why he was teleported into the primordial heaven by the world-destroying millstone. Then the situation should obviously be the same now. In other words, Chen Mobai either needs to cultivate to become a seventh-order yin-yang heavenly demon, or he needs to spend a long time transforming his yin-yang heavenly demon into a primordial heavenly demon. Let's see if we can use the power of the end times to activate this world-destroying millstone, and thus leave this primordial heaven. Does it require 7th-tier power to react with this millstone? Should I give it a try? After Chen Mobai shared his analysis with Bai Guang, the latter raised the heavenly axe of annihilation in his hand and said, "That's right, this is a supreme innate treasure." Chen Mobai was excited. If the 7th-order void power of the Taixu measuring ruler could make the world-destroying millstone misunderstand, then the even higher-ranking world-destroying axe might be able to do the same thing. "Madam, are you capable of handling it?" But Chen Mobai quickly became worried again and asked. After all, Bai Guang's previous use of the annihilation axe was simply to swing it around and chop. To make the world-destroying millstone react like it does to 7th-order void power, at the very least, 7th-order destructive power must be controlled and channeled into the millstone. Although Chen Mobai had experience wielding the power of Zixel Palace and Taixu measuring ruler, he was still very worried about Bai Guang doing this. Give it a try, there's no other way anyway. Bai Guang was not afraid of failure at all. After seeing Chen Mobai go through so much trouble to come to her, she was now filled with happiness and was single-mindedly thinking about returning to the immortal sect so that her family could enjoy the happiness of family life. "Okay, if you can't hold on, just call me." Chen Mobai nodded. Under these circumstances, they had no choice but to try anything, even if it seemed hopeless. The couple sat on opposite sides of the great millstone of annihilation. Bai Guang held the heavenly axe of annihilation in both hands, activated the covenant of unity, and used it to unleash the destructive power within this innate treasure. Unlike before, when she only thought about destruction, this time, under Chen Mobai's guidance, she accurately found the side of the world-destroying millstone that represented the destruction demon. Pure white light was drawn from the handle of the heavenly axe of annihilation by the white light's hands. Like strands of white thread, it rose up like white flames under the control of the white light's sword intent, resembling a silver-white wolf with smooth fur, looking up at the couple with great intelligence. This single glance sent a jolt through Chen Mobai's body, almost causing his avatar to disintegrate. Destroy the spirit. In an instant, Chen Mobai knew the origin of the silver-white wolf. It could only be the spirit of the annihilation heavenly axe. Haven't we already actively recognized the white light as the master? Judging from Bai Guang's surprised expression, it seemed like he was seeing the spirit for the first time. "Greetings, Senior. I wonder if you are familiar with the Gate of the Void and the Purple Cloud Palace." knowing that even if he and Bai Guang joined forces, they wouldn't survive a single blow from the heavenly axe of annihilation. Chen Mobai immediately brought out the other two innate treasures. This heavenly axe of annihilation is also a supreme innate treasure of the central dojo. Even if one doesn't recognize the purple cloud palace, which roams outside all year round, one must at least know the gate of the void, which guards the central dojo. You have the aura of many old friends about you. The silver-white wolf, its four paws treading on white flames like clouds, landed on Bai Guang's shoulder and looked at Chen Mobai with a strange expression. Its voice was ancient and sounded like that of an old woman. That's right. In the past, my true self entered the Zixil Palace and received the teachings from the Taoist master. I was recognized as a junior brother by the Taoist ancestor Taixu. The Zixil Palace also recognized me as its master when I was practicing the void refinement. Chen Mobai made no attempt to hide anything and directly revealed his background. Upon hearing his words, Bai Guang's pupils widened in astonishment. Chen Mobai's ability to reach the void refinement stage was within her expectations. After all, he was the most talented person in the immortal sects for thousands of years, and she had personally chosen him as her husband. However, his earth-shattering background still greatly shocked her. HMPH, I knew it was from the Zixel lineage. However, the spirit of the heavenly axe of annihilation snorted coldly after hearing this, seemingly at odds with the purple cloud palace. Chen Mobai realized that Zixel Palace was a treasure of saintly virtue, which was indeed different from the destruction axe, a supreme treasure of destruction. These two paths can also be used to prove pure yang, but there is no way to prove the ninth level of creation beyond that. Since you have already acknowledged my wife as your master senior, could you please help us get out of this primordial heaven? Chen Mobai pretended not to hear Silver White Wolf's words and humbly asked the extinction axe for help. If either of you cultivates to the 7th level, you can leave. Although the spirit of the extinction axe coldly stared at Chen Mobai with its azure eyes, it ultimately did not make a move and revealed the method. Ah, 7th rank, isn't that a bit too difficult? Upon hearing this, Chen Mobai's face immediately fell. As he had anticipated, he was merely an avatar here, his cultivation limited by the grade of the morning bell. As for Bai Guang, even with his exceptional talent and the heavenly axe of annihilation, achieving the level of destruction required to merge with the Tao and destroy the innate realm was practically impossible. Why go out? A great calamity is coming soon, and many people will have to face it. If you hide here and cultivate with the help of the calamity's energy, you might even have a chance to attain pure yang and take revenge. The spirit of the heavenly axe of annihilation said something like this. The reason it brought the white light here was because this place was safe enough. Chen Mobai was not surprised that the heavenly axe of annihilation knew about the calamity of annihilation. After all, if the calamity could not eliminate enough cultivators, then the Lord of Destruction would need to be born. Chen Mobai opened his mouth, but before he could speak, Bai Guang said with a determined look, I want to go out and see my daughter. If my family and friends are all dead, what's the point of me cultivating to become a Tao Lord if I'm all alone? These words filled Chen Mobai with satisfaction. Then you should cultivate slowly and go out when you have reached the 7th level of power. However, the spirit of the heavenly axe of annihilation did not listen to Bai Guang at all. After rolling its eyes, it turned into a ball of white flame and returned to the axe handle. Enraged, Bai Guang gasped for breath and swung his axe, smashing it hard against the world-destroying millstone in front of him, carving another deep dent. After striking several times with his axe, Bai Guang's face turned deathly pale. His power of the great Tao had been exhausted. Although the heavenly axe of annihilation has recognized her as its master, it is clear that she cannot fully control it. Chen Mobai thought to himself, this is not as good as his Zixil Palace. At least the spirit of the artifact is gone, and the treasure of saintly virtue can be handled at will. Once we get out, I can use the power of the purple cloud palace to defeat the white light and confirm my position within the family. Even at this moment, Chen Mobai had not forgotten this matter. The appearance of the spirit of the heavenly axe of annihilation means that Bai Guang is definitely not in mortal danger. At worst, he can come back here to open the primordial heaven after his main body outside merges with the Tao. Madam, please don't be angry. Let me take another look at this world-destroying millstone. Chen Mobai comforted Bai Guang, who angrily reached out and swung the annihilation axe off the world-destroying millstone. During this process, Chen Mobai was surprised to find that the world-destroying millstone actually trembled slightly. Does this hurt? Chen Mobai looked at the deep axe marks on the world-destroying millstone, then incorporated them into the magical artifact, and thought of this. Although the spirit of the world-destroying millstone has been reincarnated as the demon lord, the innate treasure must still retain basic spirituality and be able to perceive the five aggregates. If you open the primordial heaven, I will take this axe with me. Chen Mobai reached out and touched the world-destroying millstone, using the Cantong Chi to convey this message.